West Adelaide versus Sturt this afternoon, and just a week away from the finals action. We're here at the Richmond Oval to see two sides that are in the top four battle it out against each other. Andrew Rogers, plenty to look forward to for these sides.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the coaches attack today, whether they take it, treat it as a real game or just as a folly towards the finals next week.
Well, last night the round got underway at Norwood Oval with Norwood 34-point winners over North Adelaide. Perhaps not a surprise in the result, but a pretty good effort by what has been a disappointing Roosters side this season.
Yeah, I think both sides very disappointing. Norwood, who haven't produced the goods this year, and North very much languished in the bottom for all year.
We look at that, and that's reflected, of course, in the table. The Roosters at the very bottom with just one win and two draws. And as we said, Westies sitting in second, Sturt in third position and battling out for a little bit of confidence boost going into the finals. Darren Bradshaw, the leading goal kicker for the season for West Adelaide.
Yeah, very much rely on Darren Bradshaw and Scott Hahn as their two leading goal kickers, where Sturt spread it around a bit more with Chambers and White, Beveridge, etc.
We look at the other matches this afternoon. As we said, Norwood getting over North Adelaide last night. Our match, Westies versus Sturt. Then Port up against Glenelg to finish their season. And Central's hosting South out there at Elizabeth. Well, look at the last two times these sides met, and it was in round 9, a victory for West. And then in round 16, a very, very comprehensive win for Sturt. Cooper approaches 50, gets it off to White. An unlikely running time. 2 goals for Sturt. Bradshaw, though, ends up with it. Off the left foot. Bradshaw can turn it round from 55 metres. Bradshaw, positive push. No city umpire. Goal to Bradshaw. Beat everybody except Hassan. Hassan ready to turn the ball around the corner. Decided the better option was Cooleritis. Why not? Back to front. Comes in trouble and fire. It was a long kick from behind. Cooleritis couldn't pull it down. He gets it on the ground. Then he's over the handball. They're queuing up. It goes to Scotty Hahn. Hahn inside 50. It's a downpour in Richmond. It's raining goals.
They are making a meal of the reigning premier.
Under pressure back there. They drop it off to Squire. Squire picks up the loose ball. Goes to goal. Now another contest. Bang went Stephen White. Around on the left leg. Hooks it in. Goal to Stephen White. Immediately Sturt get an opportunity to go forward again. Magnificent hand pass by Riley. Cooper wants his left foot. That's wide. Here goes Matner. He wanted the left side. Nearly gets it with a 1-2. Gives it off again. Stephen White. 4 goals coming up for Stephen White in the opening quarter.
Now Beveridge will fly at the back and in the front. Matner just about took them up. Here goes Beveridge.
Beast is there as well. Goes on the back. Play on. Goal coming up. Well, then, even the Tapaways are fighting Sturt. Look at that around the corner. Naturally, Sturt gets away with it again. They share the ball. Stephen White, an opportunity for 35 metres.
Weatherall to Squire. He loads them along.
Now it comes. Drop zone was Riley. Drops it through for another goal.
He's got 5. Will he kick 6? Left footer. Up it doesn't. As the siren goes to end this match. Are they 12-1 West Adelaide? They're certainly not playing like it today.
So one win apiece this season, and that's reflected in those wins across, what, a century of football for the clubs. They've always been pretty close.
Yeah, they always have been pretty close, through ups and downs, but I suggest today it's going to be a similar result.
Well, Mark Soderstrom is going to join us from the boundary this afternoon as usual, and there is some late mail from the room, Soders.
Yeah, there is, Neil. It's a magnificent day. The smell of finals is in the air. There have been a couple of changes. For Sturt, Brent Riley has been taken by the Crows, and Toby Thurston's comes in and replaces him after being overlooked by the Power. And I dare say, if I was a betting man, that Toby Thurston's will get the job on Darren Bradshaw. For West Adelaide, Dominic Cassisi will play for the Power tomorrow. Christopher Chubb did damage his driver during the week of training and is a late withdrawal. Both of those players have been replaced by Bradley Nordhausen in his second game, and also Ben Dre.
So we look there at that West Adelaide lineup, and interesting, Tim Symes coming in. He hasn't played much this season, the veteran.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to play centre-half forward. He probably hasn't got the aerobic capacity anymore to play there. They are very much small down the back end, and I suggest with the loss of Chris Chubb, it is going to stretch their back line compared to the Sturt key marking forwards.
Now we go to the toss of the coin, and Seamus Maloney on the right for Sturt, and Norman on the left for Westies, and Sturt going to the left of screen and winning the toss there as we have a look at what is a very strong lineup that has, with that inclusion of Toby Thurston's, been made more powerful.
It certainly has. Hardly an injury down there at Unley, but just expect them to get the advantage in the midfield through Sheedy, Cooper, Kennedy, Beveridge, Clun. They have a host of on-ballers, and I suspect that may be the area they may well get an advantage today.
Well, certainly, Soda's mentioned it was a good afternoon, but what can we expect in the long term from the weather, Sodas?
Well, Neil, we can expect the top of 17 degrees. It's been predicted that we may get some showers. At the moment, the sun is out. It is a magnificent day, as we mentioned. Great day for football. Both of these sides getting ready for the finals starting next week. A little bit of breeze blowing across the ground, and I don't think it will favour any of the teams.
Now, Soda's Andrew Rogers already mentioned that he thinks that maybe they won't show all their cards this afternoon, these two sides. What's your feeling, having been in the rooms a bit?
Well, we did see Sturt last year. They lost to Central Districts all year, came out in the finals in that grand final, and just really blew them off the park, didn't they? So I always think Brenton Phillips does play his cards very close to his chest, and I think he'd be happy just to go through the motions today. West Adelaide, no doubt, after being beaten, well, comprehensively by Sturt last time, I'm sure that just for pride's sake, they'd want to get over the Double Blues today, Neil.
And Andrew, as you mentioned, some of those guys walking through there, including young Shane Tuck, very important to how Westies will perform in the midfield this afternoon.
Yeah, I just don't think they have got the host of on-ballers to run through the midfield. I suspect today that both sides, what they'll try to do is actually rest their midfielders getting ready for last week. So I expect that Mark Soderstrom's going to be pretty busy down there on the boundary line.
Well, both sides, they're not in tremendous form, are they? Their past 5 games, I think it's 3 wins and 2 losses for both sides. So they're not in absolute peak nick at the moment, or it's actually 3 of their past 5 they've won. So, yeah, they're not in great form, are they?
No, they're not in great form, but similar to last year, Sturt weren't in great form coming into the finals and really peaked at the right time. West Adelaide just went through a series of injuries there, and they had some suspects about the place, I suppose. There were some rumours around the place that they perhaps were running out of gas and had been a lot too long a season. They have been able to turn that around, and so I suspect they're going to have a real red hot go this afternoon.
Well, to take us through the opening bounce, here's Michael Maney.
Thanks very much, Neil. Reasonable crowd in for SANFL round 23. The umpires Williams, Doddridge and Richard Fox. Overnight rain in Adelaide hasn't affected the Richmond Oval, a very good track we've got this afternoon. Second up against third, West Adelaide second on the ladder. They'll get the double chance in the finals. Simon Feast. Important inclusion for the Sturt Football Club. Brad Dabrowski has had a pretty good year for the Bloods. Out of the centre, very, very important. Both sides coming off a win last week. A 32-point win to Sturt over North, and Westies over Glenelg by 49. Underway in the first term of round 23 SANFL football. Dabrowski thought he was going to take it out of that ruck contest. It'll be a hot footy early, you would think, with the finals very much on our doorstep. And Jade Sheedy, who hasn't probably had the year he had last year, he'll need to step it up a cog. We know he can. Good high bounce. Thumped away. Adam Cooney. This tackles Begley, takes him to ground. So let's go for the West Adelaide bench and Mark Soderstrom.
Yeah, Luke Nathan, Jason Porplesia and also Bradley Nordhausen.
Interesting to see Porplesia, who's probably started every game this year in the back line for West Adelaide, sitting on the bench. Big pack of players. Sheedy. Wobbly ball. Rutten's there. Wicks has got it. Plenty of toe. Will kick it short. Good kick. Good spot up. Couldn't take the mark. Dre was there. Norman. This kick looking for Piasanti. Can't find him. Boundary throw in.
Michael, the first quarter is going to be super important here. We saw Sturt blow them away at Unley in the first quarter and set up a match-winning margin. When both sides have played the first quarter this year, Sturt are 10-2 when they've led at quarter time, and West are 13-1 when they've won games. So first quarter super important today.
Either side able to get much of a break so far. And again, that's just got forward scrambled forward by Sturt, out of bounds before Sheedy could get his kick in. We'll get another throw in. The Sodas for the Sturt bench.
Yeah, Paul Kennedy, Matthew Smith and also Aaron Bishop, who has had a great year in the ruck.
That's what you're putting, Sal! Cut it out!
On the 50-metre mark for Sturt. White takes it out of the ruck, was advantaged by the throw-in, but then fumbled over the line by Nelson. We'll start again. A very slow start, not Not quite the intensity perhaps we expected.
No, not quite, but I suggest the players will pick up the intensity. They're playing for their spots in the side and spots in their team's finals chances next week, so they can't afford to be messing around too much.
Still, it's a scramble. Piacenti got it out. White then, advantage by the kick, puts it up high. Norman comes, meets it, can't pull down the mark. Now here's Chambers, uses the handball, in trouble straight away was Graham, got out of trouble, hooked it over his head, it was touched, called play on by the umpire. Norman grabbed, got out of the tackle pretty well in the end, may concede a point, no. Piacenti now, tackled just as he kicked. Wicks will fly from behind for Sturt, but Rutten took the mark in front, and Westies are away from the back line.
Piacenti, who's had a stellar year, grubby old kick, Miles couldn't quite collect. Handball over the top, Hassan, they need him to fire. A bounce by the speedy Hassan. You would expect him to burn off Feast. Good handball over the top, Hahn. Got it back to Hassan. Up forward, Symes caught by Feast. Had prior opportunity, the umpire has pinged him. Not a good sign early for the veteran.
Good tackle there by Symes. He just pins the arm there. You can see him grab hold of the arm, and Tim Symes with no opportunity to get rid of that. And correct decision by the umpire.
Feast looks for a man on his own. Howman just dishes off and they run well. Nelson, who hasn't got the job on Bradshaw, that goes to Thurston's. Long kick inside by Nelson. Beveridge, he's kicked it round the corner for a behind. We saw him kick 6 as we saw in our highlights package. And Beveridge not quite able to convert.
And great transference through the midfield. Great kick there by Ben Nelson, just favoured. And importantly, Luke Norman went to the back of the pack there. Andrew Beveridge went to the front. Ball comes to the front like all good forwards do. And Andrew Beveridge just unable to finish off on his left foot.
West Adelaide generally kicking the ball in long, and that's the case here. Sturt working hard. Wicks with possession. Never really much chance of getting that cleanly away. Just over 4 minutes gone, just the one score that behind that Sturt just got then. White with the advantage, taking it out of the ruck. Quick kick, Weatherall. Hand pass somehow came out to Sheedy. And Sheedy's kick well and truly out of bounds on the full. Norman has had a bit of the ball early in defence for West Adelaide now, just awaiting. Trying to take his kick. He's got Dre short and he's got Miles short. And Chambers is trying to spread himself between two players there. Dre, number 33, just comes in. As you see, he's covered. So Norman eventually kicks out long. Wasn't the best of kicks. Players unable to handle it. Finally comes to Piacenti. Down the wing, he's got a player in a bit of space in Dabrowski, the ruckman. Dabrowski takes off, goes for centre half forward. Symes punches from behind. Powell almost had it for Sturt. Now he's got it. Slick hand pass for Graham. Graham in turn looks up towards half forward. Cooney going back, couldn't take it. Neither could Clun for Sturt. Weatherall does. Feast, he'll want his left foot. Uses the right instead. Makes a liar of me. Here comes Beveridge. Hand pass out to Wicks. Hand pass again. Found Clun. Off the left foot. Scrubby old kick. Shocker. Minor score. Opportunity blown by Sturt.
Yes, Adam Clun just didn't quite have enough time to straighten up on his left foot. You can see it in Beveridge. Good pick up there by Andrew Beveridge. Good feed back inside. They will handball at all costs, Sturt, and Clun unable to finish up on his left foot.
Ross Glover at half-back for West Adelaide. He shorts it up and finds Norman for another possession for him. Damien Squire, the man on the mark. Been a bit haphazard going out of half-back, West Adelaide. Rutten just presents, got a free kick and or the mark. Stephen White, the infringer. Ben Rutten, who played 3 or 4 games this year with the Adelaide Crows. And you would think that he'd play a big part in West Adelaide's finals surge. Long kick by Rutten, just to a pack situation. Good mark in the middle of that, taken by Symes, so he always is a target. We saw him early in the season, too badly out here. Symes kicks to the half-forward line, looking for Hahn. Well roved by Piacenti. Piacenti will have to kick with the left leg, squares it up. Good kick, Andrew Rogers likes that, they fly. Good mark, Begley, he's paid. Just got in the gap. Well done. Bradshaw was the man for West Adelaide on the fly. Begley just spots a man on the outer side wing with plenty of space. This is Nelson. Just waits for it to sit. Cooney about to shut him down. Finds Graham. They'll have to chip it short and handball. Graham this time goes long to Chambers, who might mark it. Just judged it well. Good kick inside 50, and Brant Chambers, or Brant Chambers as his parents love us to call him, 53 goals, 14 for the year, that green mouth guard. Might just go the check side. Can't see anything on offer, Brant Chambers. For goal number 54 of season 2003. It'll have to be a check side kick. How good is he? He likes it. And Sturt get the first goal of the game through Chambers.
And they get reward for their inside 50, 7-2. Don't like that matchup as a West Adelaide. Brant Chambers very much a strong, fast leading, and he's very strong overhead against Benjamin Dre, who unfortunately is just not going to be as strong, only a 20-year-old and still developing. And just a good kick there by Graham, just favoured Chambers in the kick, takes the kick, and like a good forward, took his time, turned the ball around the corner, and they get their reward for their domination of play so far.
Chambers,
Thank you, away.
kicked 2 straight last week. He kicked 6 straight against Norwood a few weeks ago, or maybe it was Port Adelaide as well. So he certainly has, as we've said a few times, turned his kicking around this season. Tuck in the middle, got a hand pass out loosely for Westies, and we'll get another bounce just barely 10 metres from where the centre bounce took place. Last man up, Cooper, used to being on the bottom of the packs, that boy. Won a couple of medals in the Hills League before coming out to Sturt last year, and in his rookie year finishing 3rd in the best and fairest. Westies knock it forward. They'll get a free kick. Howard just held up, goes back, kicks smothered. Sturt is flooded back in defence. Now they work it with the hands. What a surprise. Still they work it. They have to. There's not many targets up forward. They go to a one-on-one. White is the target. Tuck comes across, punches away. Miles leads in the chase for the ball. He's got 10 metres. What's his disposal like? Wasn't the best. I don't think he meant that to go to Tuck, but Tuck's got the mark nevertheless. Looks up, not a lot in front of him, one-on-one ahead of him, so he'll take his time.
He's an important player for West Adelaide. You see him just come over the top there, be the 3rd man up. Just had some real toughness around the footy.
He does do that 3rd man up in the rucks, in the marking contest, just about everywhere, doesn't he? Miles short then to Donaldson. Still backward of centre wing for Westies. Short they go again. This is the way they use the ball. They are #1 in ball efficiency. Just over 9 possessions per scoring shot, West Adelaide. Symes started well. The old man of the team off to Cooney. Into centre half forward looking for Howard. Comes from the side. Can't take the mark. Brilliant piece of roving there and around the corner. Missed it. Malinowski.
Tim Symes has certainly started brightly here. I just think Howman would be probably the best centre-half back, or the form centre-half back of the competition for the year. And Tim Symes just presenting himself and providing so that Malinowski can get at his feet and provide crumbs, and we nearly saw the end result there.
Long kick by Thurstons. Looks for Howman in the middle of that pack. Couldn't take the mark for Sturt. Nelson taken to ground. Good work by Scott Hahn. Slips up Ben Nelson.
Be interesting if they do that in a couple of weeks' time, if they in fact meet.
Trying to drive him into the turf, you'd think. Thumped away by Dabrowski. Howard just went with the one hand. Well done by Sheedy. Out of there. Miles v Squire. Miles did well. Donaldson fed it out the back to Rutten. Rutten's handball smothered brilliantly by Clun. He may get it back. Just fell onto the boot toward the boundary line. And Miles just takes it out there with Adam Clun. Boundary throw-in.
And there's that hungriness of Adam Clum, who didn't play in last year's premiership flag. He's fighting for his spot in this Blues team, and he's prepared to do the little 1%ers. It's going to get him over the line in the next week's side. Anti-player
Clun. Tuck once again, as we pointed out, loves to come into that ruck contest. Weatherall taken to the line by Cooney. Crowd calls ball as Cooney decides to rough the McGarry medalist up a little bit. Nothing much at all in all of that.
I think Adam's actually complaining he messed his hair up there, but
he's doing a good job of that himself.
And it's a big aspect there for Adam Cooney. He's able to get on Tim Weatherall. They've mashed him up on him, so it's a big plus there for Adam Cooney if he can handle the job today.
Free kick there, Hahn just slamming Cooney down, or rather Hahn slamming Weatherall down, perhaps on behalf of Cooney. Off the ball, there's a bit of a clash involving Whiteman, one of the hard men of the Sturt outfit, against Hahn, who's very much the hard man of the Bloods outfit. There it is in the box, just a little bit of push and shove. The boys get to know each other. Dabrowski, meanwhile, has the mark and squares it across to Glover. They'll want to switch the play. Glover going sideways, and then finally just a chip over the top. Westies unable to make some very good penetration through half forward at the moment. Mark again by Dabrowski. Stretched well, or rather Miles it is. Miles now. Tuck gives him a lead into the half forward area, but he's ignored that. Goes shorter. Coming from behind with the spoil, Sheedy late. Still a mark is taken there by Fisher. Fisher waiting, goes for Bradshaw. Bradshaw comes from behind, couldn't take the mark. Now Sturt, an opportunity to break from half back. The long kicking Cooper thumps it long, up towards Nelson. Donaldson did well, Nelson got it away from him, then Donaldson came back again. Still he goes, wants to get the sideline, he doesn't get it that far. Squire off the left foot, brilliantly played by Squire, up towards the half-forward line. Beveridge over it, in trouble, sweating on him right, and Beveridge gets it out. Wicks, if he can get a hand pass across to the middle, he's got a couple of players. White slams it on the boot, up towards full forward. Chambers claimed he was held. Now he belts Norman on the way through, and the ball will come clear, and Westies will get out of trouble in defence.
Miles looks for Fisher, just carries him. Hassan. The speedy Hassan. He's going to be in trouble here. Weatherall's got him. Surely holding the ball. No free kick. Cooney. Short kick down the line is just out of bounds on the full, is it? No. Just on the line.
It's a fiery game here. There's certainly no big pardons asked early. And here we were today thinking, well, there's not much on the result of today, but certainly both teams certainly standing up to it.
Well, you wouldn't want to do anything silly in round 23 with a major round just a week away.
The Junior Wrestling Championships for Australia are actually on in a couple of weeks. A couple of those boys trying out, maybe.
Very impressive, too. Peter Williams with the ball. Dabrowski just used a bit of muscle, knocked it down. Well done, Whiteman. Cooney just takes him to the ground. A fierce tackle. Ball spills out the back. Wicks gave it back to Sheedy, who was in all sorts of trouble. Good enough to get a kick away. Cooper. What's he got ahead of him? White gave him something short. Decides to kick long, looking for Chambers. Good movement as Simon Feast is off the ground, Mark Soderstrom.
Yeah, he's been replaced by Aaron Bishop, and also Andrew Whiteman looks to be in a little bit of trouble after that heavy tackle by Adam Cooney.
He's as tough as they come, Whiteman. I reckon he'll just shake the head and get on with the business. Meanwhile, Chambers, who's kicked one, going for number 2.
And there's that matchup I don't like again. I really would like a taller, stronger player, maybe a Ben Rutten or someone like that, or even a Miles who is actually matched up on Cooper and Squire as they run through the midfield would probably be a better matchup than Ben Dre.
How long will Sean Wren's faith be in Ben Dre? We'll have to wait and see. From 45, Chambers. Good kick off the boot. His teammates clap it through. He likes it as well. I think Chambers might have 2, and the Double Blues have got a couple.
So he's got the first 2 goals of the day, and once again it was just a quick kick out of a pack, and Cooper playing in front. They didn't lead to his leg. His natural leg is to his left-hand side. It would have been an easier kick for him. They led to it to the outer side, and Chambers takes a nice mark. Beautifully weighted kick by Cooper. He goes back and kicks his second and gives Sturt a nice break.
Boys, quick change. Dion Miles has come off the ground. He's been replaced by Luke Nathan, who looks like he's heading out to the wing.
13 points the margin early. Bishop into ruck, just dumps it forward for Sturt. Coming against the tide was Nathan. Unable to get a clean possession, Dabrowski did. He goes wide to Rusker. Now he's run himself into a bit of trouble, now out. Kick towards Symes, too far, in front and wide. And out of bounds over there. Early signs pretty good for Sturt.
Yeah, they are. They flicked the ball around, but West Adelaide haven't been blown away like they were at Unley Oval. At Unley Oval that day, Sturt were absolutely awesome, but it was a lack of pressure on the Sturt on ballers which really enabled them to do that. And West Adelaide's tackling is certainly on the money today.
Tuck. Weatherall was wrestling with him, trying to stop him from coming over the top. Didn't need to in the end. Hahn gets it forward. Still it's in that forward line, and Sturt coming over the top and perhaps holding the ball. It was the player under there, Malinowski, diving in on it. Showed a lot of courage to do so, but in the end gave away the free kick off the ball. I see a Sturt player down, and it's Whiteman. Hahn's pushing him around, so that'll be very interesting to watch as Wicks comes to this side of the ground, clears it long. Thurston's was a player coming in late. Strong mark in front of Fisher, though. Drives it up towards Malinowski. Wicks tried to take out Malinowski rather than taking the ball. Malinowski Did well, back to Tuck, squeezes out a kick looking for Bradshaw, did well to trap it. Now Bradshaw crashes in over the ball. Weatherall did well not to get bowled over and then tackled. We'll get a bounce. Sturt in defence. Westies pushing hard.
Would have much rather Shane Tuck then go to the top of the square. See Bradshaw prepared to put his body on the line. He's here to play today. I suspect West Adelaide have a lot more to gain out of today than what Sturt actually have.
Bishop got it down, looking for Clun. Big cluster of players there. Tuck, he's got a kick away, just half distance. Piacenti just gives off to Howard. He's in a bit of trouble, just pushes off Wicks. Howard just sits it up. Good looking kick to the square. Can't take the mark. Symes was there. Taken by Ruska. And put through by Howman. So behind to the double blues. In fact, they're behind to West Adelaide. So that double blues defence working overtime down there. And West Adelaide's forwards working very hard, Andrew.
They're working hard to keep the ball in the area. They just haven't been clean, and their possessions haven't been clean through the midfield, enabling their forwards to make the most of these opportunities.
Well, sloppy kick works. Out of defence, Clun. Clun goes in long, looking, falling back. Well done by Cooper. He was going into Rove, and then he realised that he was actually in a position to mark and took the chest mark in front of Beveridge, who was steaming out with Norman in close attendance. So Cooper, you'd think he'd make the distance well and truly.
I would suspect it. And the rotation is causing West Adelaide problems. Cooper, Squire rotate through the midfield from the wing to the half forward. As we look at Cooper, who seems to have just missed to the right-hand side. But the rotation is causing problems. They've already had Miles removed from the ground because he was unable to get with that rotation, as we just missed there. But now Adam Cooney's got that role to run with Weatherall, Squire and Cooper as they rotate through the midfield and the half-forward flank in the wing.
Thanks, mate.
Luke Norman. So they try to play the other side of the ground, West Adelaide. Just a quick look by Norman just to see if there's anything on the switch. Nathan was there. Decides he better just kick it long. Do a contest. Good mark by Stephen White. I don't know why you kick it anywhere near Stephen White in the air. High kick. Back into the hot spot. Chambers in the middle of that lot. Couldn't take the mark. Dre got it down. Weatherall was there. Clun working hard on the ground. Got a loose handball out. Cooper just wrapped up by Norman. Loose handball. Just running onto it is Chambers, and he's got 3 for the turn. Just read it well, Brad Chambers. And that loose ball out of there, he was onto that like a flash.
He was, and Adam Clun heavily involved. He's at the front and centre of every pack. You can see him there working hard. He eventually gets his arm free to get it forward. Cooper just keeps it alive. Chambers is able to run in and kick his 3rd for the quarter, so he's had a dynamite opening. Once again, Ben Dre, I'd suggest that change as the runner heads out. I suggest maybe Miles is probably a better matchup there than Ben Dre, but he's had a super start to the game.
It's beyond 19 minutes in this opening quarter. Sturt, handy break, 19 points. On the bounce in the middle. Some of the Westies fans in the stand starting to get a little dissatisfied with their team's performance to start the game. Bishop high, got it away from Dabrowski, who came again, picked up the ball and was swamped. Hassan got a hand pass out, so did Maloney. Fortunately fell to Cooper. Cooper, Flano able to handle it. Now Cooper gets it again, in tight, loses it. Glover, slick, well done. Piacenti running, pursued by Bishop, won't gain anything on him. Piacenti off the left foot. Symes can't take the mark. Thurston's called the play on. Umpire didn't pay the mark. Double Blues defence stands up pretty solidly. Maloney with the short pass. Nelson wanted to go on. Look out. He's in trouble and crunch. Down went Sheedy. And very much Dean Howard, a Queenslander by birth, enjoying the rugby league stake type atmosphere with that particular tackle.
He doesn't mind mixing it, but just a slow, loopy handball enabled Dean Howard to close ground very quickly.
Don't get in the path of a Dean Howard tackle. I tell you what, he'll break a rib or two, I reckon. He is fierce. One of the best tacklers in the SANFL. 19 points the difference in favour of the reigning premiers. Will they be a threat in the major round? I would suggest they would be. Tuck knocked it down. Sheedy, free kick, will go to the double blues, or will it go to West Adelaide? Maybe it's going to go against Stewie Graham there.
I think you'll find the umpire missed something in there, because Stuart Graham is very wobbly on his feet.
Top one, Bradshaw, good lead. Not much space there, but they found him. Toby Thurston's just about inside his jumper there. And Bradshaw, this is probably one of the first possessions that Darren Bradshaw has had. We saw him contest very hard on the half-forward line a few moments ago. The first clear run he's had at it.
Salam Hussein's kick had to be absolutely perfect. There are a number of Sturt players who dropped back into the space. Virtually had to be the kick where he had to dive and slide. It favoured his side. Toby Thurston's very much was right behind and just couldn't do anything about the kick.
He's had 112 shots for goal. That's discounting anything that he's kicked out of bounds on the full. He's kicked 84 goals, 28 before today. Bradshaw from 35. I think he's just got it through, has he? Wait on it. Goal. First one to West Adelaide. And their spearhead, Darren Bradshaw, the appropriate man to kick it.
And an important goal for West Adelaide just to arrest this momentum. Sturt have got away to a very good start. You can see there on the end of the kick, Toby Thurston was right on him, but unfortunately was unable to affect the spoil. But Bradshaw, importantly, as he's paid to do, went back and nailed the goal just to give West Adelaide a bit of momentum as they head into quarter time.
Andrew, you've already mentioned that Sturt 12 wins and 1 loss when in front at quarter time. Started this one pretty well. Glover makes the tackle there in the centre. We'll get another bounce down. 21 plays 8. We've gone past 23 minutes, just ticking over now in this opening term. Cooney, just a half kick out wide. Hassan will run onto it. Plenty of space to work with. Waits for Bradshaw's lead. Bradshaw's led and he's missed him. So Hassan forced to go on off the left foot. Punched away by the Sturt defender. And Powell. Now Nelson comes in, slaps it forward. Hahn ducks the head, gone. Umpire will call that holding the ball, surely. No. Well, you heard the umpire in the background. He was saying, you ducked your head, and Hahn was immediately seized upon by a couple of players.
I think that's a great decision, though. He did duck his head, but he didn't really have an opportunity to get rid of it either. So a stalemate, well called by the umpire. 60 metres from the West Adelaide goal. Dabrowski comes over the top. Howard couldn't handle it. Glover on the ground with Clun. Glover eventually wrestles the ball away, but not before the umpire calls for it.
What are you guys? Straight back here.
Just inside the forward 50. Dabrowski just knocks it wide. Rusker will be first there. Gathers, uses his wrong side, which is the left foot. Goes long towards the goal square from behind Malinovsky, and from the side Symes gathers. Wait, Symes off the left foot. Malinovsky mid-air. Did he touch it? Umpire will signal a goal. Not sure who actually connected in the end. Goal umpire may be able to tell us. But regardless, it's 6 points more to the West Adelaide score.
And importantly, Shannon Rusker involved again. He has improved as the season's gone on, has been injured early in the year. Kicks a nice left foot kick. And Tim Symes is a new lease of life here at centre-half forward. Gets his own crumb, just gets the ball forward. And Malinovsky, not really sure. He's quite happy to, whether it's an area or what he's kicked here. We'll get a look on goal umpire Cam. I think he's got a shoelace on that, and I think he's going to claim it.
I'm giving that to Symes. That's a bit hard to tell.
Sorry, Michael, we've given it to Malinovsky.
Actually, Malinovsky's just come off the ground. I'll try and grab him and ask you if he did kick it, and he's been replaced by Dion Miles in the forward pocket.
All bets have been placed up here. Ian Mogridge, how can we ever doubt Ian Mogridge? He says Malinovsky. How can we ever doubt Andrew Rogers? I'm giving it to Symes. We'll wait for it.
Oh, it's 2-2, because I reckon Symes, I don't think Malinovsky touched it.
Feast. Good kick, spots up Nelson, who runs on in forward 50. Nelson, long kick to the square. It might just carry. What a kick by Ben Nelson. And that is how slick the Sturt machine can be.
Yes, you can just see the advantage of getting the ball out of the middle, and just Brad Dabrowski just overcommits himself there. All he had to do was tie Ben Nelson up so he couldn't play on. He overcommitted his body to the footy. Ben Nelson played on, and like a good player that he is, very versatile player, goes back and kicks the goal and just gives Sturt that nice margin.
Just another look at Malinovsky. Ball, gee, I'm not sure that ball changed shape. I'm prepared still to say he didn't kick it.
We need a snickometer.
Ball down in the middle
Richie.
again. And we get a secondary bounce just 10 metres or so away from the centre circle. So let's score check again. Sturt 4-3-27. Sturt leading by 13 points. Westies 2-2-14. Dabrowski's had the better of the ruck contest so far. Sturt, they come away. Nelson tries to go back inside. That time it didn't work. The hands were slick from Begley. Off to Graham. Graham's had his problems already in the first quarter. Goes for home. What a kick! Oh, Sturt just opening up a bit of a lead. And Stuart Graham very, very happy after what has been an injury-plagued career to be on the ground and kicking goals like that.
And some great hands in tight there by Begley. Gets the ball forward. Graham just runs his full 15, carries the footy, and a little bit of breeze favouring that end, and beautifully controlled kick, and gets full reward for sitting forward of the play. But the thing that really set it up early was the slick hands in tight by Nelson, who got the ball rolling, and Sturt, just with 2 in a minute, get a nice margin here as we head into quarter time.
6th goal this year to Stewie Graham as the Double Blues go out to a handy lead. Ruckman nullify each other. Cooper cop one on the way through. No free kick. Umpire put the whistle away. Then goes Whiteman, fed it out to that man Graham, who got it back to Cooper, ducked it back inboard to Clun. They've been dangerous in this situation. Running back with a flight is Chambers. The ball trickles out of bounds. It's quarter time at Richmond Oval. In an entertaining first term, the Double Blues 5-3-33, West Adelaide 2-2-14, and Sturt, in the aid of that breeze, pretty much Andrew Rogers took advantage of it, you would think.
They certainly did. Early on, they were really slick and handy. Grant Chambers was really important up forward, giving them a target. Then West Adelaide just had a good patch where they arrested the momentum, started to control the footy around the midfield. Shane Tuck was heavily involved. Dean Howard started to get involved, and they turned it around. But just late, Sturt got their slick hands going inside again, got the ball going forward, kicked some long goals, and they thoroughly deserved their quarter-time margin.
As we look at those goal kickers, Darren Bradshaw and Nick Malinowski, the only 2 scorers for West Adelaide. For Sturt, Grant Chambers, we saw Graham just kick that beauty, and Ben Nelson as well. All individuals, of course. As we look at the stats overall, no surprise in many respects. Sturt having a lot of hand passes, a lot of possessions.
They certainly do. They are a high possession team. They are #1 in the league as far as possessions, 150 handballs average a game, where West Adelaide only manage 86 handballs a game. So their kicking is going to be a lot higher than Sturt. So very much the way the trend of the game has progressed the way we would expect it.
Well, now we've got an interesting little story for you. Joining us on the boundary line, Matt Illman, the former Adelaide 36er basketballer who's now turned footballer. Matt, I think it's your 2nd game of reserves football this afternoon. How did you feel you went?
Oh yeah, it's a pretty slow process, you know, just trying to get a feel for the game again. Haven't played it for a number of years, so it's a slow process, but hopefully after a couple of games this year and full pre-season, I can get into it full steam ahead next year.
Now look, it was said that you lost a bit of passion for the game of basketball. Obviously you feel as if you've got something to contribute as a footballer though.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, I've always been passionate about football. You know, it's been a love of mine, you know, ever since I was a kid, and you know, I still love the game of basketball, but just lost the enthusiasm to play it, and always wanted to have a crack at footy. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Given the Sixers' plight at the moment, is it running through your mind at any stage that maybe you might go back onto the Pine?
Oh, not at this stage. No, I'm enjoying being involved with Westies here, and yeah, just fully committed to that at this stage. So I think I'll just leave the basketball behind for now.
And Sean Wren, I know I was talking to him about your particular style as a player and that. He described you as a natural. Did you always feel as if you had something to contribute in football, or why did you choose basketball in the first place? I sort of played a little bit of both when I was at school, and I guess I had to make a decision on which one to go with leaving school and make a commitment to one, and I guess I was probably a little bit more advanced with my basketball at that stage, so I gave all my commitment to that. But yeah, I've always wanted to get back into footy at some stage, and now seemed like the right time for me, so hopefully I can give it a good crack.
And Matt, how's the body holding up? A different type of game to basketball? Some more bruises in the game of football?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a little bit stiff and sore at the moment. Just coming off after the reserves game. It was probably my first full game today. I only played bits and pieces of the game last week. So, yeah, the body will take a while to adjust, but hopefully I'll be able to, adjust pretty well.
Well, if you adjust really well, you never know. You might follow Dean Brogan into the AFL, having played basketball in the National Basketball League. So, good luck with the future, Matt.
Thank you very much.
OK, and now we're going across to Sodas, who's been going to tell us at least what's been going on in the huddles while we've been talking to Matty Illman.
Well, after a fiery opening with some pretty hard tackling from both sides, a couple of quick goals late have the Double Blues on top. Sean Wren, he's talked to his players, he said, just have some patience. I want you to stick with the team rules, looking after your man, and he said if we maintain our patience, things will work our way. A little bit angry, picked out a couple of highlights in the quarter where he was unhappy with players going outside those particular rules. And Nicholas Malinowski has assured me that he was actually the goal kicker and not Tim Symes.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to Tim Symes after the game. Thank you very much. We'll see what happens there. You see Sean Wren laying down the law a bit to his players there, telling them how he wants it done. And if Sodas is correct this week in his assessment of the breeze, Westies will have the breeze in this term.
Yeah, it's just a minor breeze. You can see the carry and the kicks there late from Ben Nelson and Stuart Graham. Just carried that ball an extra 5 metres. They were able to kick some long goals from outside 50. And as suspected now that West Adelaide would have that advantage.
Just a reminder of our tipping competition now. Greg Peters of Coromandel Valley, congratulations. You win tickets to the 2003 Grand Final by being our winner for round 22. As we look at the top 10 overall, your last chance this week, by the way, to get in and get your tips in as we head into the finals. David Finch leading the way. Brian Flowers, now if I remember, he's been leading for most of the season, so he'd be a little bit disappointed coming into the last round of tipping. Smoker still up there, and a few of the other names around the place. Now, we're going to have a look again at what Nick Malinowski claims. Oh, look, if he touched that, he touched it with the stripe down the side of his shoe.
Like all good crumbing forwards, and if you talk to anyone like that, they're little gold sneaks, and I'm sure he's going to claim that, and he'll talk about that tonight in the club.
OK, where do we go from here? Can you see, well, obviously, there's Westies kicking with the breeze. They should get back into the game. What did you think of their first quarter performance?
I thought they were certainly a lot better than they were at Unley Oval, where their tackling left a lot to be desired that day. So I just suspect now that Sturt will probably enjoy kicking into the breeze. Their handball style actually suits kicking into the breeze, and just those key forwards again, I think, are going to be important.
Now, your assessment of where Sturt sits, you actually, I might ask you to explain why you think there's more in it for Westies today than Sturt.
I think Sturt have proven over last year's finals campaign they were good enough on the big day come the end of September last year or the first week of October. West Adelaide are very much an unknown quantity in finals football, so I really think they have a lot more to prove out of the day than what the Double Blues do.
Well, certainly the Double Blues have started well, and as we mentioned a couple of times in the call, their record very good when they start well in a match. It's and they've also won 5 of their past 6 against West Adelaide. So, well, it's all before them, West Adelaide. There's Timmy Symes, the veteran, standing at centre-half forward. Start of the second quarter. Here's Michael Maney.
Round 23 SANFL footy underway. West Adelaide and Sturt, the ruckman, just ran at it. No one got a touch on it. Out of the centre. All work by the Double Blues. Wicks got it to Howman. Howman kicks long, looking for White. Knocked away, Piasanti. Rutten was the man who knocked it away from White. The kick, not good, chopped off by Begley. Back to Cooper, who wants that left leg. Around the body, he spotted Feast. On hands and knees, dives and takes the mark. So early in the second term, just 36 seconds gone, the Double Blues will kick it inside 50. Just kick to a contest, Chambers taken out of it. 3-on-1 there, Piasanti just found Glover. Glover, cool in the situation, looks for Norman. You need a good bounce here, Norman. Doesn't get one. Just below his knees, he struggled. Glover popped the handball over the top, and Piasanti shanks the kick out of bounds on the full.
It's good pressure there by the Sturt forwards, just to try to keep the ball in the area line. You can see that Luke Norman just under a little bit of pressure, just a fumble below his knees.
Squire kicks it long to a contest.
Play on.
Umpire said play on. Donaldson to Miles. The kick had to be good and was to Glover. Glover wants to switch. Running for him on the outer side of the ground is Rutten. Chambers has closed him down, so Glover's got to have a rethink about this. He's had a few bounces. Working very hard on the outer side of the ground. Uses by hand there to Donaldson. Just got it to Dre. Dre kicks to a one-on-one contest. Hahn over the back. The foot of the ball is Hassan. A man running for him on the outer side there is Fisher. Fisher with a bounce. Westies. Short kick. And marked by Howard. So sloppy old kick. And Dean Howard just shows the ball to Maloney. And you would think with the kick from Stuart Graham in that first term and Ben Nelson, that Dean Howard would be a Monty to get the distance from here.
And he's an important player for West Adelaide. Provides some real toughness around the footy.
Good looking kick. Plenty on it. It's got the legs. West Adelaide get the first of the second term through Dean Howard.
And importantly for Dean Howard, he does present himself. Seamus Maloney will play off his play. Will try to read the play as the ball comes down the ground and try to help out his fellow backman. If West Adelaide on ballers are aware of this, they can actually use Dean Howard as a shorter target. And a wonderful time kick there gets West Adelaide the first goal of the second quarter.
Dean Howard, as we said, from Surfers Paradise, or Broadbeach, in fact, on the Gold Coast. Ball back in the middle. Feast comes over the top, gets a knock that time. Seems like every time one ruck gets the ball down, the other side takes the ball away. Sturt now Whiteman from half back, just across to Sheedy. In turn, he's got another player short. Howman. Now it gets a little bit crowded at half forward. Howman's got Graham inside and 25 metres to boot. No, free kick down the ground for holding was the reason for the free kick. Goes to Sheedy, being blocked by Glover. Ball down towards half forward. Beveridge has the ball punched away. Unlikely target there at half forward. Sheedy's hand pass set up Howman. Howman goes back in, at least contains the damage to a ball up there, just down towards half forward for Sturt.
And an important role for Brett Howman is if he does run down the grain, try to test out Tim Symes aerobically. Hasn't played a lot of footy this year, Tim Symes, so if Andrew Howman can run down the ground, he will tire Tim Symes out very quickly.
Begley got around Fisher. Left leg wasn't the best, but it was effective. Got it to Cooper, showed strength. Hand pass forward. Clun just tapped it on towards Nelson, was ruled a throw.
No, there's no handball there, no clean fist.
A little bit too slick there from Adam Clun, but they will toss the ball around in tight, and the umpire just spotted that one. But they continue to toss that ball around through the midfield.
Cooney to Piacenti.
So brother, right there now, thank you.
West Adelaide, a bright start to this term, an early goal to Dean Howard. Piacenti gets a call from Rusco. Oh, just over the fingertips. Bursting onto it was Graham. We saw him kick a long goal in the first term. Long kick by Graham as it got the legs. He might have just hooked it to the right as it tumbles through from behind. You can see the effect of that breeze with Stewie Graham kicking a long 60-metre goal in the first term. Quite nail it from there, Andrew.
Yeah, and importantly was very wise there to try to keep the ball low, try to dribble the ball through. He had no options as he went forward, but just a costly turnover in the midfield there by West Adelaide.
Donaldson brings in the ball long. They did have two on one for a moment. Miles brought the ball to ground, but now Cooper swoops on it. Big hand pass inside. Weatherall from 40 metres decides on the hand pass. Already with one on the board for Nelson from 15, 20 metres out. He pops through his second of the afternoon.
And mark that goal down to James Begley. From the kick out, he was the one that worked over, provided a contest against Miles, was able to get, you can see him just involved there, Cooper gets the ball forward, and Tim Weatherall, realising he's probably just outside his distance, ran the footy up, drew the West Adelaide player, handballed off to Nelson, who finished off quite a simple goal, and Sturt get the result.
He's only 35 metres out. I think give him a benefit of the doubt. Surely he just wanted to make sure, Timmy Weatherall.
It was actually, it's similar to our fellow commentator, Tim Ginniver. He probably would have had to almost kick a torque from there to get the distance.
Well, he has struggled this year with a hip injury, particularly of recent times, so maybe he's perhaps looking after that. Anyway, second goal to Nelson, as Neil Cross said. Started the game off beautifully. Hassan ducked the head, got through some difficult traffic to Fisher. Squeezed out a kick looking for Hahn, just dropped the mark. Maybe not on his game today, Scotty Hahn. He's up against a pretty good opponent, Whiteman, and he's given away a free kick for a high tackle.
And you reckon these two blokes haven't gone at it all day? On the ball and off.
They'll continue. Begley to Maloney. I don't think we've called him much in the first part of the game. Maloney short kick. Howard tried to claim the mark, rolling back. Nelson, another possession to him, uses Whiteman, a bit of run here for the double blues. In fact, it's Howman, I should say. Howman will kick it inside 50 to the lead of Chambers. Couldn't take the mark, well done, Dre. The spillage at the back to Donaldson, to Hassan, as the umpire just about fell over, umpire Peter Williams. Long kick, Symes on a long lead. He's got Hahn further up the ground, who slipped Maloney for a second. He's still on, decides to ignore that and go to Rusker. Nelson's there, got a fingertip on it, well played. Good speed by Hassan, got it back into the contest, I should say. Scotty Hahn got back in the contest as Shannon Rusker grabs his left hamstring, and maybe a free kick out there for deliberate.
And Scott Hahn actually gave a free kick away off the footy, and that's why we see the resultant bit to Shane Sloane. But great coverage there by great coverage there by Seamus Maloney. As we get a look here, and there's Shannon Rusker grabbing his left hamstring, which is not a good sign in a game that doesn't mean too much today. To have one of your better on-ballers go down is a bit of a tragedy for West Adelaide.
The background, as he did that hamstring, Rusker, we saw the free kick given away by Hahn, who's on angry pills this afternoon. Ball down towards centre wing. Sturt dominating in the air pretty much at the moment. Here's Graham, got the hand pass from White, drove it long, looking for the target coming out. That was Beveridge. Lovely take by Beveridge. As hard as he tried to get there, Norman, and as hard as he made Beveridge earn it, it was still a mark, and he goes short. And on the lead comes Chambers, full-chested, takes the mark, pulled down by Dre. Peter Williams will bring back the mark by 5 metres or so. Chambers already has 2 this afternoon, lining up for his 3rd.
And importantly there for Sturt, all their key forwards are involved there. We saw Stephen White, then we saw the hamstring again, then we saw Andrew Beveridge, and finally Brant Chambers on the end of it. So their key forwards are posing problems for this stretch West Adelaide defence.
Speaking of stretching sodas, what's going on down there?
Yeah, Shannon Rusker no doubt has strained that left hamstring. He's been replaced, and I dare say we won't see him for the rest of the day.
Well, shades of last year for Brant Chambers. Just spraying the kick a bit out on the full, shaking his head. All that good work gone to waste. Wonder if the Westies trainer was perhaps telling him that.
Mr. Accuracy, he has been. There's Shannon Rusker in the bunker, shaking the head.
No, it's gone, is what he's saying.
Maybe his realisation that next week, at least they've got a bye. Taken by Squire. Squire's exquisite skills, looking for Beveridge, just on the half volley. Just held onto the football, and the umpire says, give it to me, we'll bounce it. And maybe Shannon Rusker will have the opportunity, not necessarily with a bye, just with that rest, before they play in the second semi-final against Centrals.
I think Andrew Beveridge is disappointed with that decision.
Glad we didn't have the umpires blind up.
That ball just rolls out of bounds. We've heard a few. Eagles camp. Just watching. Day off for them, so they've got together as a group to watch a pretty important game of football. They'll play Sturt next week. White down, Clun through difficult traffic. Just hooked in by Stephen White. His kick around the body just finds Rutten. And Ben Rutten relieved for the Bluffs.
They seem to want to go to the far side of the ground. Nothing was on offer there. He goes short to Miles, who, again, looks to that far side of the ground. Now he thinks it's on, so he goes wide to Dre. He's a left footer. Dre gallops away. Looks downfield. Nordhausen is the target, making yards towards the ball, but the ball making yards towards the boundary, and ultimately runs out of room.
Neil, just on that window, I can understand West Adelaide are going the far side, because when they do get the ball up to half forward, if they were on the other side of the ground, they'd actually be going into that crosswind.
We'll get the diagram out later, actually, so just to explain this.
Did that make sense?
I think it did. Here's Howard, off the left foot, inside 50. His kick's pretty good. Doesn't quite meet the mark, though. Thurstons comes over the top, knocks it away from Bradshaw. That's out on the full from Piacenti. And it'll be a free kick to Daniel Wicks. He may well share the ball. He does immediately with Thurstons, who looks to switch play. Goes through the middle corridor, even better for Sturt. Here's Nelson. Nelson goes long, looking for Begley. Will come from behind against Fisher. Ball held up just well enough for Fisher to get it away. And Fisher was holding on, according to the umpire. So Begley will take the free kick. Quickly moving the ball on towards half forward. Here's Sheedy. Inside 50, what's the pass like? Oh, well done by White, falling backwards, plays on quickly, head pass inside to his running mate, and Chambers. Goal for the Sturt Football Club.
And a great transmission of play, started by Turby Thurston, took the risk in the back line, switched the play. Begley's able to get the on the end of it eventually, and you can see there Sheedy go forward, beautifully weighted kick, and just Stephen White, just with the presence to know that he's not under pressure, and not to have a shot at goal and open up the angle for Brant Chambers. And he gets his 4th for the day, so he's had a great start today. He's kicked 4 goals straight and 1 out of bounds on the fall, so he's certainly providing plenty of headaches for the West Adelaide department. But I just wonder now, do you do something there, or do you say, well, look, nah, don't really need to do anything. Ben Dre's not going to play on him in the finals, so it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, but you end up crushing Ben Dre, don't you?
Yeah, you probably do.
off there. Looks like Glover holding onto his nose. In the centre, Nelson shared it with Begley. And the man of the moment, White, flung just in front. Handball at the back, Begley again. Well done by Donaldson. Running onto it was Ben Rutten. Just steadies himself and kicks long inside 50. Now Bradshaw's in the box seat, thumped away by Thurstons. Wicks, can he hold on to the footy prematurely? Taken by Piacenti. Handball over the top. Symes just dished a handball off to Hahn. It goes back to Bradshaw. Kick brilliantly smothered by Cooper. I love his defensive skills come the finals. That handball not too good by Powell, I should say. Taken by Paul Pleasure. He's kicked a goal for West Adelaide. And whilst I was wrapping up Matthew Powell, that handball was a bit too dangerous, Andrew.
Yeah, just like a great smother there by Powell. And there's Cooper. He did all the hard work. Powell done all the hard work, but stolen by Jason Porch-Pleasure. He kicks his first goal in league footy, predominantly known as a backman. And just a good attack on the footy. Takes the ball away from Howman, turns the ball around the corner, and gets an important answering goal for West Adelaide.
Better known as a right footer too, so off his left side. I know you fancy his skills. You think they're pretty good at this level.
Yeah, he doesn't really waste the ball too many times.
Sturt through the middle again. Here's Nelson. Gee, they rely on his strength, don't they? Oh, slick from Graham. Just found Sheedy in space. Delivers the ball high. Here comes Chambers. Bit late, but knocked the ball to ground. Nathan did well for West Adelaide. Hassan's in a bit of space. He's got player and Symes forward of him. Can he get it to him? Off the left foot now. Question of whether he can get it there. He does. Symes immediately, or rather Howard it is. Breaks inside from 51 metres. Howard lines it up. It's got a chance of scoring a behind.
Good play there by Dean Howard. Brought the ball back inside. You can see he's disappointed with the end result. And just missed it to the right-hand side. If you're going to miss it, that's probably the side to miss with Soda's mystery crossbreed.
Take him half an hour to explain that. Begley, half-back, got it from Thurstons. Kick by Begley. Symes just worked his way, judged it better. That ball just dropped a little bit. Symes positioning himself in front. Good mark. Kicks it long just to Hassan's going to fly. Can't take the mark. Had the ride. Couldn't hold on to it. In he goes again. Hassan, cop one high. No free kick. Cooney, who's been ineffective today so far, just can't break free.
Good footy. Thanks, Adam.
Here goes Sully. Find a leap. Seen him take a few hangers this year. Didn't quite get the body position right.
Bounce, Coxie.
Ball knocked away. Hassan another chance. The speedy Wicks. Maybe no thought a free kick. In goes Malinowski. Doesn't leave anything behind in the change rooms, Nick Malinowski. Pretty full on.
Yeah, Daniel, we've just been a little bit disappointed today with Wicks. Just his body strength just really hasn't been as you know, he's not known as a tough player, but he just needs to make those tackles, and if he's not making tackles, well, then he's got to run hard and create for Sturt.
Good bit of Begley. Took his time. Begley knew he didn't have much to go to. Went for the boundary. Umpire said throw it in.
That's just smart play there by James Begley. He looked up, there was nothing on. All he could see was a sea of West Adelaide players, and controlled his left foot to the boundary line. Just played the percentages.
James Begley, 8 possessions this quarter, 12 for the game.
Good pick up, isn't he? Just to have a player like that come back from St Kilda, sign with Adelaide in the AFL, and didn't play most of the season, or around about half the season with the Sturt Football Club.
Yeah, it's important that he does give him a lot of flexibility. Probably could go back, could go forward. Just his spot today is the wing.
Simon Feast just warming up on the boundary line for Sturt there. Here's Hahn over the ball, claimed to have been grabbed. Whiteman pressures him. Hahn was good enough to get away. Whiteman was good enough to smother. Great battle, that one. On and off the ball, as I mentioned before. They have been at each other.
And I think umpires are very much aware of Scotty Hahn this year. Great smother there by Whiteman, that he does try to milk free kicks, and they're very much aware of that when they do give him free kicks.
Back to Howard, snap. Bradshaw in good position, got his man out of the way, fumbled the ball, gave away a free kick as well. So in the last line of defence, Toby Thurstons to take the kick for Sturt.
Thurstons looks for Cooper. Well played by Piacenti. Front on though, no free kick. off the ball, maybe a free kick. Umpire didn't pay it. Howman got it to Cooper, who wants to get on that left leg, just backpedaling. Kick across the body. Nathan committed the body well. Malinovsky. Howman just sold his teammate into some trouble. There's a free kick going to Nathan for holding on. In fact, it's going to Malinovsky. Malinovsky looks for and finds Dabrowski. Can he hold on? The umpire blew the whistle. Now, they got a little bit confused, both the umpires there. Peter Williams paid the free kick and umpire Richard Fox said play on. And ultimately, Dabrowski's got it. Outside 50, kicks to the hot spot. Bradshaw did a lot of hard work. Got there, couldn't complete it. Maloney to Graham to Begley. Begley will try and find that line again with a scrubby old kick. But it doesn't matter how they get there as long as they do. And it was effective.
Just feel as though there's a lift in intensity here by the Bloods. They suddenly realise, look, we're in this game. Some of their younger players have done some courageous actions, or Peter Senti come back with the flow of the play and just provide a contest. So they've really just picked the ante up at the moment.
Dabrowski knocked it down. The ball up. Big man in Bishop there. Getting himself up. Dean Howard at the bottom of that pack. Very concerned look on that Sturt supporter's face, but played pretty well so far in this match. Cooper, kick smothered. Bishop, kicked it high. Weatherall committed the body, so too Hassan. And another patchy bit of play for a bounce.
This is where I'd like to see West Adelaide just open it up here. Instead of having an 8-on-8, take your players away to a dangerous position where the player's got to go with you, so you have a 3-on-3. You're much more likely to take the ball away cleanly.
Whiteman took it, tried to break Howard, holding on to him.
And there's that result again. As I said, take your player away. All of a sudden, you've got a lot more space to work with. If you do get a clean takeaway, you're at least going to get a shot at goal.
Down again. Hahn runs forward of the plate. Knocked down to Cooney, though, for West Adelaide. Puts his head down, still a smother. And, Andrew, the question is, what happens if you go away from the pack and your player doesn't?
You go and stand in what I call a dangerous position. So you go and stand somewhere near Darren Bradshaw. Does he take the risk to stay with the pack, or does he go back with you?
Ball down again. Either team taking up Andrew Rogers' invitation at this stage. Here's Hassan off the left foot. His kick was beautiful to Bradshaw. On the lead, strong hands, Darren Bradshaw with the mark.
Beautifully weighted kick there by Salim Hassan. Highly skilled on his left foot there. Just gives it some air, puts it out in front, and at full gallop, a wonderful grab by Darren Bradshaw. And Toby Thurston's has been close on both occasions that Bradshaw has taken the mark. And not too much you can do about that kick again.
Salim Hassan's not a bad pickup, is he? Just basically came to the club to try out, having travelled down from Darwin. And although he had some injuries mid-year, he is a very good player.
He does give them pace through the midfield. They've got their hard nuts in there. He's the one that gives them some real clean ball and can really use it.
Kick from Bradshaw, no mistake. Goal to West Adelaide to edge back into the contest. Margin back to 13 points. So it was just a change down there as Bradshaw congratulated by his teammates.
Yeah, Scott Hahn's had a pretty tough battle with Andrew Whiteman at the moment. He's come off the ground and Tuck has replaced him.
And just suspected that's a good move there by Sean Reid. Look, get Scott Hahn off, because in 2 weeks' time, if Central's beat West Adelaide and the Eagles lose to Sturt, well, Whiteman, I'm sure, will pick up Scott Hahn. So you can get a real psychological advantage today. Get him off the ground, call him down. Okay, maybe put him back on later on. Don't put him back on Whiteman. Put him in the midfield or something where he can get some confidence back so he goes in positive in a couple of weeks' time.
In the centre, Feast tried to go off the ground. Dabrowski on hands and knees. Donaldson spills out the back to Cooney. That's a great kick off the left by Cooney. Finds Howard. Howard to Bradshaw. Found some space, Bradshaw. No mark. Under a bit of pressure. Symes somehow got it to Bradshaw, who's held the football for a fortnight. Umpire said play on. Free kick no to Howman. They're letting it go at the moment, the umpires. Good umpiring. And a bounce at half forward for West Adelaide. Salim Hassan just picking himself up for the Richmond turf. He'll play an important role in the finals. Dabrowski knocked it forward. Tuck flew as well. And Maloney finds the line.
Sturt are very much aware of Tuck trying to come over the top. We can't just see it in screen here, but Andrew Whiteman is going to stop Tuck from jumping here and being the third man up and thumping it forward in a set play for West Adelaide.
Ball knocked down. Graham just handballed out in front of him, taken by Malinovsky. He kicks it round the corner, won't come back enough into the pocket, and it is out of bounds. Toby Thurston's getting a hand on it. Boundary throw-in.
Yes, and Malinovsky would have rather that gone towards the top of the square. It was just too close to that point post. Kicks it to the top of the square. Still gives West Adelaide a very good chance of scoring.
Back into play, they still have a chance of scoring, but they just can't get it away from the pack. Maloney on his natural side just brings it away for Sturt. Lovely kick to Begley. Gee, moves well, this guy. Just looks like a class player. Hasn't quite cracked it full time at AFL level. His time deep in the second quarter. 23 minutes gone. Begley. Great kick into the breeze. Looking for Feast. Looks to knock it on. Does knock it on, sort of. Howman over it. Tuck did well. Gets to his feet. Hand pass out to Donaldson. On the left foot, Donaldson into centre half forward. Malinovsky will come. Malinovsky will take a good chest mark. It's called to play on. In short he goes with the kick. And Piacenti will get mark and or free kick. Hassan tried to play on. But it will be a free kick to Piacenti. He'll have a shot from maybe 35 metres out. And they can get the margin back to 7 points. A very, very manageable 7 points deep in this second quarter.
And certainly this is the contest we came here to see today. As I said, we've had contrasting in round 9. We saw West Adelaide run over the top of them. And in round 16, we saw Sturt win easy. Nicholas Malinovsky will claim that. Well, it's just out of screen, Darren Bradshaw was leading out. So I think it was more good fortune than luck that Piacenti can have this shot at goal.
Must have been had binoculars on it, and I was looking for Bradshaw as soon as he kicked it, but instead Piacenti came across, and even more importantly, having taken the mark or free kick, kicks the goal. The margin now 7 points in favour of Sturt.
And I think Sean Wren would be really happy today with David Piacenti. He certainly put his body on the line. And you can see here Malinovsky full-chested, comes out, takes the mark, and just gets back quickly. See a slight slip. That kick was meant for Darren Bradshaw, but David Piacenti slips into the space, and important for West Adelaide finishes off. So as Neil said, they get it back to a nice manageable margin here at half-time.
David Piacenti, 12 possessions today, 6 in each quarter.
Has been good. 4 goals to 2 by West Adelaide in this term, back to 7 points. Another late goal. Just reduced it to 1. Clun got it to Weatherall, to Nelson. Can they rebound? Taken by Squire. One of the best finishes in the book. Long kick by Squire has just missed to the left-hand side. Big build-up, big letdown. Damien Squire normally finishes those.
Just a great passage of play there by Sturt. They flicked the ball around with their handball. They ran to create, and unfortunately Damien Squire just unable to finish. One of the few times you'll see him do that.
West Adelaide working from the back. Norman, acting captain this afternoon. Just looking around for options. This side of the ground he has a couple of players. Decides to go shorter into nearer the centre corridor. Rutten. Donaldson is outside him. That's the direction he goes. Now Donaldson breaks. Call to play on. Long with the kick. Down to Owen's half forward. Nordhausen couldn't take it. Feast can for Sturt. Flicks out a hand pass. Tuck does well. Intercepts it. Tuck now. Question if he can pick it up and gather and steady. He does all those things. Plays on off the left foot. Tuck's kick for goal. Thurston's just knocked it away with his foot. The umpire's called play on. I don't think Thurston's realised that was going on. I don't think he would have been that casual if he thought it was serious.
There was a whistle there, Neil, and then he caused him to stop.
Sturt fortunate perhaps to get out of it. Stuart Graham with the mark now at half-back. Comes short to Squire. Doesn't touch the ball much, Moggy.
Just his 4th possession today, Neil.
Disappointing year from Damien Squire. From behind, Symes couldn't pull it down. Play on, called the umpire. Clun inside, just missed the body, but Sheedy was good enough to gather and in turn uses Wicks. Just open space in front of him. Norman forced to come to him. Goes over the top with a lovely kick. Beveridge called the play on. Ball smothered. I was waiting for the umpire to call it. I thought he'd taken a step, and in fact he had. And well done by the defensive unit back there of West Adelaide.
Right, I think.
You just feel as though Sturt are flirting with their form a little bit, playing a little bit millionaire-ish. At the moment, there's nothing on the end of the day. We can roll into the finals.
No, they're playing as though there's no real result on the end of the day.
And as a result, at half-time, the margin cut from 19 points at quarter-time to just 8 points at half-time. West Adelaide 6-3-39. Pretty good second quarter. Sturt 7-5-47. Andrew Rogers will now take us through the goal kickers.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. For West Adelaide, Bradshaw with 2 goals in that quarter. Howard, Porfleisha, Piacenti and Malinowski with a controversial goal. And for Sturt, Chambers has been a star up forward with 4. Ben Nelson with 2 quality goals and Graham with 1 first quarter goal.
And what do the stats tell us, aside from the fact that both clubs on course for really what they do across the season? More kicks and less handballs for the West Adelaide side.
Yeah, as expected, we expected that way, but inside 50s are a telling point, and probably what Sturt have earned their lead, 27-21. They really have had more of the player in the midfield, just playing a little bit millionaire-ish, I thought. Just hadn't really done the hard work you need to win these type of games, and look, both clubs need to increase their intensity come next week.
Andrew Whiteman and Scott Hahn went at it off the ball and on the ball, as we said during the call, and this was one of their particular off-the-ball scuffles. And
Andrew Whiteman's done a number on him today, though, too. Good move by Sean Wren to get him off late, just so that he can calm him down a little bit, perhaps play him at a different position.
Look at those scores. 4 goals with the breeze in the second term from West Adelaide to creep back to within 8 points of Sturt at half-time. And, gee, it's not a bad game. It's pretty close, and so it should be between two sides that, of course, will play in the finals. Look, time to have a look at what's coming up in SANFL football, if you like. We took our cameras down to the Glenelg Oval early in the week to have a look at some schools footy, and this young lad impressed. Louis Haddon playing for Nuriutpa against Brighton High in the semi-final of the Year 8 and 9 SANFL Cup. And this lad's got a bright future. He guided Nuriutpa to a 29-point victory over Brighton, and playing for Brighton, interestingly, was Ross Gibbs' son, Bryce.
Yeah, I've heard some good reports about Bryce Gibbs, and very similar to his father, very laconic, very good kick for goal, and Ross was a wonderful player for Glenelg.
And this young lad, as we said, young Haddon, geez, he was impressive. He did some very, very good things with the ball and showed a lot of presence around the football, as we said. So there's the future of SANFL footy, and that's the reason that it's going to have a bright future, because we've got kids like that coming through. Sodas is down on the boundary as usual. Sodas, we're going to update some scores in a minute, but first of all, anything from the rooms?
Well, not really, no. I think West Adelaide did pretty well to fight their way back, and they did have the breeze, as you did mention, that quarter. A real contrasting styles of football, isn't there? Last week, Sturt, when they did beat North Adelaide, 50% of their possessions were handballs. West Adelaide, however, in their victory, only about a third of their possessions are handballs, and that's really been shown out today.
Now, Sodas, you'll be interested in these scores from other grounds. Central's pretty comfortably over South Adelaide out at Elizabeth by 29 points at half-time. There is a break at half-time, or a sort of a break down at Port Adelaide, where Glenelg leads by 2 points, but 7 minutes from half-time, one of the players ran into one of the goalposts and it snapped off near the base. So they've actually got a half-hour break to put up the goalpost again.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Memories of Lee Matthews many years ago at Princess Park when he ran into the point post and broke that there. So I'm not sure who the player was that did do the damage at Alberton Oval, but if he's half as tough as Lee Matthews, he's done very well, hasn't he?
Well, you wonder what would have happened, perhaps if that sort of situation happened with Wayne Carey earlier in the AFL season when he banged into the post. If it snapped off, perhaps he wouldn't have split his knee open.
Well, exactly right. The Crows would have been a little bit happier. They would have had him for a couple of extra weeks, but he's improved well. And do have spare goalposts down at Alberton there, Neil? Have you checked that out?
Well, you'd kind of hope so. I hope they don't have to make one from start, Andrew, but just about set for the second half. Just repeating those scores. Glenelg by 2 points, but they have a break 7 minutes before half-time. They've taken that break, and then, of course, they'll play the second half, so we won't have a score this afternoon until perhaps very, very late. Central's over South by 29 points. Here, it's an 8-point margin in favour of Sturt, and to take us underway in the second half, here's Michael Maney.
Thanks, Neil Cross, for that breaking news from Alberton. 8 points the difference at half-time, entering the third term in favour of the Double Blues. The reigning premiers just holding on to that 1-goal-2 advantage. There's Nelson. Ben Nelson hasn't been able to crack it for a game in the Adelaide Crows this year. Some would be surprised with that. Excellent contributor for the Double Blues. Sheedy dishes off to Howman. Long kick to centre half forward to the target in white, knocked away by Rutten. Doing the roving Squire. Donaldson. to Howard, back to Miles. The old firm, Nathan, strong mark in front of Graham. One just wonders who wants to win this game this afternoon. Nothing hanging on it, apart from a bit of pride. Taken by Howard. This gives a bit of ground. Clun chops off the handball. He is 100% Adam Clun. You would never doubt Dean Howard also.
Those little 1%ers that Adam Clun does, you know, not too many supporters will notice that, but certainly the coaching staff of the Double Blues will notice. He's keen, he's hungry. He's one of the blokes who missed out on last year's premiership medallion.
Carrying a very important number 2, that of Brody, Atkinson. Forgot his name for a second. Mark at half forward by Begley. Class player. Short kick. Looks for Cooper. Cooper just loads up a long bomb to the square. And surely a free kick down there. Not going to Squire against Miles. One behind to Cooper.
And we can hear the umpire's explanation here that both were holding. Trying to suggest that it might have been more Dion Miles than Squire. But Cooper, very dangerous on his left foot there. Just coasted into the pocket and was able to unload from just inside 50.
Oh, for one of the few times today, West Adelaide short from the kick-in. Norman taking his time. He goes back short. They might as well not have done that because they're starting over again. Glover out onto this wing. He's got Howard. Nobody forward of Howard. He'll be forced to go back and think about it. Looking for 25 metres there. The umpire would have none of it. Howard now, short again. And I think Glover was a bit lucky there because Clun went to take off and probably would have got there for the spoil, but just slipped. Now Glover short back to Norman. Very un-West-like. They're not going direct at all at the moment, just looking for short passes. This time it's Rutten on the end of a lead. Now he looks on the far side. He's got Dre in a bit of space. Doesn't want to go that way. Player on the mark, Chambers, takes off, then comes back, and then finally it does go to Dre. Now he's got 30 or 40 metres in front of him. Chips it out wide to Symes. They're on centre wing, and Moggy, that must have been 8 or 10 possessions.
He was one of those, Neil.
Down to half forward, it all comes undone. Squire comes across, just knocks it out of bounds for Sturt. We'll get a throw in.
Top possession getters for Sturt in the first half. Matthew Cooper 15, 14 each to James Begley, Stuart Graham, Ben Nelson and Jade Sheedy. And for West, 12 to David Piacenti, 11 to Salim Hassan, 10 to Ross Glover.
Tuck, left footer, deep in the pocket. And is it carried out of bounds on the full? No, just inside. Boundary throw in. What's that breeze like, Mark Soderstrom, for this third term?
Yeah, it has. It's probably similar to what it was in that first quarter, blowing across the ground, if anything, just slightly favouring the team kicking to the left of the screen.
On the ball, Mark Soderstrom, taken by Nelson. Switches out, looking for Begley. That's a dangerous kick. Over the back, Begley has the pace in front of Fisher. Backs himself, has a bounce. Moves toward the wing, ducks back inboard to Wicks. With plenty of pace, kicks a high kick. Now, Port Please is going to go the knock-away. Good play. All rove. It's by Symes, who is working pretty hard, the big man. The oldest man on the ground. Kicks a high ball, looking for Hassan. And Nelson's given away a free kick to Salim Hassan. 50-50 that one, I would suggest. Still in the centre square. Hassan just waiting on Bradshaw. Decides to go short to Howard in front of Sheedy. Now, Sturt have just flooded back a little bit. And Howard may just have to go long here to the square with Dabrowski getting back. Long kick, out to the pocket, in front, Hassan. He's got a metre in front and took a chest mark.
And the kick was actually meant for Shane Tuck behind him, but Salim Hassan just slipped in front, just lost Ben Nelson in the play as he chips to the pocket. Not a percentage play.
Well, Glover got it back to Hassan. Trying to make up for that, jammed it on the boot, scrubby old ball. Bradshaw just rolls it to the line, throw it back in.
Just the movement from outside inside half forward, it was just too slow. West Adelaide need to move the ball quickly, give Darren Bradshaw a one-on-one against Toby Thursday.
Wicks just pushing Hassan as he kicked that ball, and I think Aaron Bishop may have actually hurt himself. He's involved in this ruck contest. Tuck comes over the back. Cooper sweeps the hand pass straight to Howard. Turnover. Piacenti outside 50 off the right foot. Dabrowski will take the mark. Looks around. What's he got in front of him? Nothing much in terms of available leads. Symes, you see, running down the outside of the ground, and Bradshaw offering a lead. Dabrowski taking his time now. He'll sit it up into what breeze there is. Gets great distance considering the breeze. Bishop sits at the front. Hassan flew from nowhere, didn't bring it down. And Sturt with numbers. Sheedy through the middle. Great kick, Wicks. They want to play on. Maloney off half-back. His kick was pretty good. White pushed under the ball by Rutten. Rutten immediately, he got the ball. He clung and went past him. Almost got the ball. He didn't. As a result, Westies, Piacenti, received from Donaldson. Now Howard able to take the mark. Now he can play on and break. Dummies a hand pass, almost pulled down by Weatherall, and a real low, sharp pass, which didn't find the target. Whiteman cut it out for Sturt, and they'll come clear. Look for Begley. Begley with Fisher coming to spoil him. Over the back. Now it comes down to Malinovsky. Begley takes him away from the ball. Sturt, gee, they're under pressure, but eventually their handball and skills will almost work. Now, finally, they're clear of half-back.
Begley a bounce, backed himself over the top, looking for Weatherall. Kind bounce, runs onto it, dishes off to White, who's got a man running, the skipper in Maloney. Maloney's outside 50, who'll kick a long ball. It may just carry both the players in the square. I think he's kicked it. Long goal by the skipper. For the first goal of the third term goes to the double Blues. Seamus Maloney just kicked many.
And the Blues continue to trust the Brenton Phillips game plan. You can see they run out of half-back, they share the footy. Although he missed the target there, Tim Weatherall never looked like kicking that. Feeds it off to Stephen White, who an outside handball to Seamus Maloney, and a beautifully controlled kick. Didn't try to kick it too hard, just let the breeze do the rest, and it floated through nicely. So Sturt, although West Adelaide have enjoyed a good passage, get a goal against the run of play.
Andrew, a change. Adam Cooney's come off the ground. Scott Hahn back on the half-forward flank, and straight over to him, Andrew Whiteman.
Bishop comes over the top, so whatever he looked to be favouring before, he's not now. It's pretty fit Cooney in the box up there, number 35 for West Adelaide. Just wandering the boundary, as has become the way of football now. Come off the ground and just wander around the boundary.
Just 4 possessions for Cooney today. Hahn's only had 3.
Symes in ruck, just thumps the ball forward. Malinovsky with the loose hand pass, pulled the ground after he kicked, after he handballed it, sorry, by Cooper. So Malinovsky eventually will get the free kick. Squire and Hahn just battling for the ball. Which is ridiculous, really, because it was time off and the ball wasn't going anywhere, except back to Malinovsky. But it did give Sturt some time to man up, and that's what they do. And as a result, they turn it over, West Adelaide. Here's Squire. Oh, great class from Squire to find space, and look at the pass. Beveridge turns around, waits for Chambers, who comes on the lead. Beveridge ignores. Maloney running back to the square. Beveridge lines it up, belts it long, looking for either of those players, but they're not required. It's a minor score.
With Sturt flooding back in numbers, the West Adelaide, when you do chip short to a 50-50, it turns the ball over. And a wonderful transference of play there by Damien Squire, and Andrew Beveridge loads up from well outside 50, and that's as close as you can get to hitting the woodwork.
A couple of behinds to Andrew Beveridge today. Paul Pleasure takes the mark in the right back pocket for West Adelaide. Short on to Norman, who just drags the man out of play here in Miles. At half back has got Dabrowski down the line. Good kick, well played by Begley. Just read it superbly. He's got exquisite skills and good judgment, James Begley.
He's been very important today, and you can understand why the Crows, he's on an AFL list, and he's going to be an important cog in the Double Blues premiership assault.
White takes it out of there, gives it off to Clun, who somehow spun around. Nelson, that's quick hands to Weatherall. Now he needs a kind bounce, duck the head, no free kick. Hassan on hands and knees to Rutten, so the rebound football. Rutten kicks out to the run of Piacenti, the 2 racehorses. Wicks wearing him like a glove. Good play, Wicks. Free kick. Daniel Wicks will get a free kick. Probably a good play by Piacenti.
David Piacenti, one of the few times he's been beaten today on a one-on-one by Daniel Wicks. He's certainly commanded that position today.
Look for White. Rutten just stood up. Donaldson over the top to Hahn, who found some space to Hassan, who kicks looking for Tuck. Tux takes the mark in front of Damien Squire.
Squire, very fortunate perhaps not to give away for 50-25 at least. Graham over the top with a punch away from Dabrowski. Hassan rode it well through the head back, got a free kick.
It's all right, mate. Just over the shoulder. Just by a bit. There's a bit there, but let him go now. Let him go now. Nothing that I would call obvious, mate.
Interesting what Tim Wetherell would have thought of that free kick.
So Hassan, Maloney just chops off the pass. Now they fight on the ground. Well done by Miles, pulled it in with one hand, still unable to get to his feet. Well done by Wetherell, well, not by Wetherell, at least by Whiteman. Another W out there, and who should come over the top just as he knocked it forward, but Scott Hahn.
Officially lined him up.
Just wish they'd go to the top of the square, West Adelaide. They tend to chip it to the pocket. Very hard to kick goals from the pocket.
Dissatisfied looking Blues fans at the moment, sitting down there on the terraces. Dabrowski with the hand pass backwards, goes to Piacenti, approaching 50. Weeks gets to him just in time, but the kicker's away. Bradshaw absolutely picked up and threw aside Thurston's, and the umpire said, well, that's okay, why not?
Very much open to interpretation, that one, Neil, but the umpire's on the spot. David Piacenti carries the footy and just kicks it to the top, and there's a push within 5 metres. Umpire makes that decision.
Wayne Carey will be playing until he's 45 in the SANFL, if that's allowed.
Well, let's hope that Wayne Carey plays in the SANFL until he's 45. But Darren Bradshaw, that's his strength. If he's not able to hit on a lead, you kick it to his advantage side, and hopefully he can finish this one off and just get West Adelaide back into this game.
He has 2 on the scorecard this afternoon, and Bradshaw now has 3. And through that, he's cut the margin back to 10 points.
So West Adelaide enjoying a good spot here. Sturt have rebounded through a Seamus Maloney goal, but David Piacenti has had the better of Daniel Wicks on the outer wing and gets the ball forward, and Darren Bradshaw strength. Toby Thurston just loses his feet there a little bit. Darren Bradshaw kicks his 3rd for the day, so a good return, but Toby Thurston certainly providing a good contest there at fullback.
Piacenti 15 possessions, Wicks 13, but I suggest Piacenti's been better value.
Goal 87 for the year. Darren Bradshaw, 13 to go. Will that be unlucky? Dabrowski over the top for West Adelaide. Hassan, well done by Powell. Got it away to Clun. Difficult traffic. Back to Sheedy. To Howman. To Wicks. A long wide lead was Cooper. Couldn't haul it in. Paul Pleasure just happy to run it out.
Right in, thank you.
10 points the difference, 13-minute mark of this term. And in the second halves of their games, Sturt, they've only won 9 third quarters this year, so it's been a problem. They normally have won 12 first and 12 second, so their second halves haven't been quite so good this year, Andrew.
And it's mirroring the first game, the round 9 game, where Sturt were on top at half-time, and that day they did run out of legs due to only having a 5-day break. But today it's a similar scenario to what happened on that day.
White took it out of the ruck contest, kicked inside 50. Take the mark. Well done by Beveridge. He's kicked a couple of points, Andrew Beveridge. Loads up a long kick, and he's kicked 3 behinds for the day. The former Tasmanian and Eagles player.
Plays the foil in the forward line there to a number of taller marking targets, and just hasn't had his kicking boot on today. Kicked 6 goals the last time these clubs met at Unley Oval, and the difference today is that they haven't controlled the midfield as much as they did that day.
Donaldson short to Norman, and then Glover. We've seen this before, deja vu. About 10 minutes ago when they kicked in, they did the same little manoeuvre. On that occasion, they managed to get it free down this side of the ground. On this occasion, that should have been a mark, surely, to Donaldson. Looked like it was punched away very, very late by Chambers, but the umpire said throw it in.
So I would have thought he stopped that dead, so I would have certainly played that mark.
So still inside defensive 50 for West Adelaide. Right half back, Tuck pulls it in one hand. Now he's in trouble. Ball comes back eventually, and Rutten now is in trouble. And umpire says, "Give it to me." Peter Williams, as you can see, mic'd up. Didn't have any time telling the players. White takes it out of the ruck, slick hand pass. Nelson checks side. What's it like? Brilliant! A goal to Ben Nelson. Whoa. You fancy Sturt if they can kick goals like that. Nelson has 3 for the afternoon.
I was about to comment what a good job Ben Rutten had done on Stephen White, and they haven't really been to a lot of contests. Stephen White took the chance there, took the ball out of the area, and just quick thinking there by Ben Nelson. Couldn't get on his left foot, just turns the ball across his boot. You can see beautiful shot there from goal umpire Cam. He's your late of the boundary. He kicks his third for the day, so he's been a valuable player for Sturt.
8 kicks, 10 handballs.
Explain to me how he can't get onto his left foot if he can get a check side with the right foot.
Well, why would you kick on your left foot now when you can kick like that? But I dare say most players would have run out to their left there.
Great skills by Nelson. Secondary bounce. Adam Cooney has had a couple of jobs, negating jobs today, Adam Cooney, so he hasn't had that much of the football, but he's been on and off the bench. As Matthew Smith, who hasn't been on the ground at all, is warming up, ready to come on for the Double Blues. Push forward into West Adelaide's forward 50, Hassan. He's got to try and crash through 3 Double Blues. And this is when Sturt are at their most dangerous, when they hunt in packs.
They just seem to have the measure of West Adelaide today. Every time they've been challenged and have been able to respond, it's almost as if they're going to be quite happy with a comfortable 3-goal victory.
Tuck knocked it down to Hassan. Slick hands to that man Cooney, who may line up in a Western Bulldogs jumper next year in the AFL. Handball chopped off by Cooper. It was meant for Glover. Ball in dispute. Cooney just throws a player out of the way. Piacenti, kick was touched. Umpire said play on. Knocked away by Nathan. They dive in hard for the football. No faint hearts out there at the moment. Big pack of players and a bounce just 15 metres out from the West Adelaide goal.
And just a poor decision there by Adam Cooney. 17-year-old lad finding his feet in the SANFL. Just needed to kick it to the top of the square. Copy's lot in life. A handball was not the best decision there.
Ball down, Maloney carrying the ball towards the boundary, then kicks it way outside the 50. Wicks running into a bit of space, and he's got 10 metres on Piacenti, but no space to work with, as it turned out. Okay, scores from other grounds. Centrals by 30 points over South Adelaide. At Alberton, Glenelg leads by 2 points, but if you've just joined us, one of the goalposts has fallen down, and as a result, they took about a half-an-hour break. There's 5 minutes until they resume the second quarter for 7 minutes, and then they'll have a 5-minute half-time break, and then they'll probably get on with the game. The new goalpost they put up is 2 metres shorter than the original one. What a story.
Neil, sorry.
Why would it be 2 metres shorter? Can anyone answer me that?
They've probably gone down the road to one of the local ovals and said, we'll pinch this one.
The mini-league one. They put the mini-league one in.
Siders, what were you saying?
Yeah, just some interesting changes here. Luke Beveridge has gone off the ground. Andrew Beveridge, rather, not Luke Beveridge from the Bulldogs. Andrew Beveridge has come off the ground. And Matthew Smith gone down to centre-half back on signs. Brett Howman has been released up forward.
Well, the ball hasn't gone too far from where it was before in terms of actual positive move forward for either side. It's on centre wing now. We'll get a throw in. And of course, the score hasn't changed either. Sturt leading by 17 points. Rob Lucas was once in government. Now he's in opposition. He's got a bit more time for the footy, perhaps.
Keenly watching the events of the day.
Big Westies fan.
Westies man.
Interesting move that to throw Andrew Howman forward just to create mismatches. Luke Norman's had to pick him up, a mismatch in height. They've gone very tall up forward. Have Sturt.
Don't mind a tall forward line. Over the top, Maloney. Hassan. Sheedy working very hard in the clinches. Put on by Bishop to Nelson. Back to the hard nut in Whiteman. To Wicks. Giving some run is Sheedy over the top. Loves to have a bounce, Jade Sheedy. Spearing kick is a good one. On the end of it, the big man, the number 19 for the Double Blues, Stephen White. Goes around in a wide arc and kicks a long bomb. I don't think it'll go all the way. It'll drift away at the back. Begley and Chambers. But the goal umpire, I would say, has said it has been over the line and is one behind to Stephen White. We'll just wait and see. Umpire Peter Williams has paid the mark.
Hopefully we get a good look at this. But I think Ben Nelson would be very disappointed there with Stephen White. He was sitting in space about 35 metres out from goal. Didn't give it, and so that would be disappointing. But once again, just needs to think through here. Just needs to take his time, think through the correct procedure like he did in the first quarter, Grant Chambers, and he should finish off with another goal.
He kicked the check side from here in the first term, and he's lost nothing. He has kicked goal number 5. And the Double Blues march on.
And has been the starring light today. We get a look at this on replay. Gentle push there. very hard to determine. The goal umpire is in the best position there to give that and finish off nicely. But Stephen White, he's obviously had a ping it goal from well outside 50. No, that's fair enough. That's certainly a mark. Good umpiring. Grant Chambers, similar to what he did in the first quarter, thought through the process and finishes with his 5th goal.
Margin now 23 points. Biggest of the game was at the 11-minute mark of the second term when it was 26 in favour of Sturt. Westies slowly fought their way back into it. Now Sturt overrunning them, it seems. Although Westies will kick with the breeze in the final term. We're into time on in this term. Piacenti breaks down the far side of the ground, wants to come back inside, makes it hard for Miles, who then makes it even harder for Piacenti. Come back, give me a bad handball, will you? Whiteman, Begley on hands and knees, flicks up the hand pass. Sturt show them how to do the close hand passes, and finally they break it open. Whiteman down the far side of the ground. Good kick, Howman over the top, couldn't take it. White could, slipped out a hand pass quickly, but not enough room to move there.
And that's a disadvantage of giving an outside handball or a handball towards the boundary line. Damien Squire had very little room to work with. He comes back inside and runs inside. It opens up the whole goal face and then opens up plenty of space for Damien Squire to work in.
White and Rutten both knocked the ball to the same place. Unfortunately for Westies, that was to a Sturt player. Booming kick from Cooper. Great goal. He has got some magnificent power in that left leg.
There's a few alarm bells ringing now for West Adelaide. Just well outside 50, unloads. And importantly, Brian Chambers actually led out and created that space in behind. And Ben Dre had to make a decision. Does he go out with Chambers or does he stay on the goal line? He elected to go with his player, which was the correct decision. Enabled that space over the top from Matthew Cooper to finish off nicely. And he's been one of the better on ballers for Sturt today.
7 kicks, 13 handballs.
He's been looking for a goal too, Matty Cooper. 1 goal too. Out of the centre, Piacenti. Can West Adelaide reply? Jammed it on the boot. Good mark. Taken. Long kick. That was Glover. Chopped off by Graham. That Sturt defence. Holding up. Graham finding his niche back there. High kick. Begley! At the set. From half back. Shorted. Hit the ground. Bishop got it back to Begley. He's got to use Bishop again. Had Maloney short. Decided to use Nelson right in front of the interchange. Handball. Just fluffed a bit. Kearney couldn't quite keep it in. Good interception.
We talk about X factors in games and finals. James Begley could well be that X factor that Sturt might need. Now, he's different from last year, and he might well just be the player that could be the real impact player come finals time.
A couple of excellent marks there. The first one hooked in by Stewie Graham, and James Begley, who really has shown some class today.
He just looks as though he's a bit above this grade here, and he could well go to the next level.
No trouble about that. Hassan just burns off Clun for something. Gets a call from Miles, who cuts through the centre of Richmond Oval. Plenty of pace there from the veteran. Miles, wobbly old ball to half forward. Whiteman can't get hold of it. In goes Bradshaw, brute strength, got the handball out, tuck. Question of accuracy, off a step, into the pocket. Fisher. The kick just fading away, and Fisher just able to judge it well. And this is a difficult kick. We saw Chambers kick a couple from a pocket. Can Sam Fisher do the same?
And just needs to go through the similar process of what Grant Chambers did there. Needs to kick the check side from here, but Jade Sheedy there just took his eyes off the footy. It was never really a hope of really interrupting this mark to Fisher.
Our cameras have got a great view of this. He's bent it around. I think it might have just gone through from behind. Quite have enough screw on it.
And it is a kick you need to perfect, especially if you're a forward. So there's a few techniques you need to go through as you get a look at goal umpire Cam, and that's certainly another correct decision by the umpires. They've actually, I thought, been pretty good today.
Sturt bring it in fairly well again from the kick in. Powell's kick wasn't the greatest though. As a result, Westies will clean up with the back through Piacenti. Clun comes, makes Piacenti kick high. A lot of players in this pack. Great mark, almost. No, not paid to Bishop at the front. We get a bounce down. Right on the 50.
It hit the ground. It hit the ground. There's nowhere near it.
Well, you heard the umpire's explanation there, but Bishop will get up, and it's the second time he's thought he's had a mark. And we did see that one obviously slip out, so umpire Doddridge right on the spot. Thumb forward, Nelson with the run of the ball, maybe, now not. Wicks now with the run of the ball. He looks behind him, sold the dummy to two players, Wicks, and then took off. Now gets a good shepherd, or at least a block from Graham. Down towards the 50, goes long. Chambers can't take the mark. Sturt, though, with the numbers on the ground. And Paul Kennedy, who's only surely just come onto the ground, has taken the ball out of play. And because he kicked that ball away, Cooper, it's going to be a free kick to West Adelaide in the back pocket as we have a look at Wicks. Oh, lovely sleight of hand.
Plenty of pace there from Daniel Wicks, just getting away. The replay, Chambers couldn't get on the end of it. Dre with the free kick, shorted up to Paul Pleasure as they try and play the other side of the ground. Paul Pleasure to tuck, just runs off, drives long, looking for Piacenti. Quite take the mark, gathered the football, under pressure, Glover, good vision, high kick, Rutten camped underneath. Height difference there between Rutten and Whiteman. He's on the wing, Rutten. Just kicks it, won't quite go inside 50. Hahn has had a dirty day. Glover is highly skilled, ridden into the ground by Powell. No free kick. Umpire will bounce.
The ball, that is.
.46 plays 74 at the 27-minute mark. Sturt, 4 goals to 1 in this term. Loose ball, can the Bloods get a late one? Hahn in hard on the football. Clun also. They lock it up. The Double Blues won't mind that. Getting close to three-quarter time.
Just a little bit surprised here, Michael, that they haven't rotated more players through the bench, try to freshen them up for next week, and perhaps that'll happen in the last quarter. But I think it's an ideal opportunity to get Scotty Hahn on the footy. Let him run around a bit, let him just break the shackles of the Andrew Whiteman all day.
Knocked forward by Dabrowski. Three-quarter time. So a 4-goal to 1 term by Sturt sees them lead at three-quarter time, 11-8-74. West Adelaide, 7-4-46. A lot of work to be done in the final term by the Bloods, Andrew.
Yeah, there certainly is. I think Sturt just have shown that little bit touch more class today. They've been clean in tight. A number of their on-ballers in Cooper and Sheedy have been proficient. Can't get the word out there. Prolific through the midfield. And they really have just controlled the game and really haven't got the result. They probably should be a little bit further in front. For West Adelaide, they've had a number of disappointing players. Scott Hahn, you saw there on picture, has been disappointing today. But the one shining light has been David Piacenti, who has really stood up today and said he wants to be part of this finals campaign.
To see 4 goals to 1 in that third term, and Michael Maney mentioned in the call that third terms had been disappointing for Sturt, not so this afternoon. At least in terms of productivity, if we look through the goal kickers. Darren Bradshaw leading the way for Westies, has 3 from pretty limited opportunities. Brant Chambers with 5 and Ben Nelson with 3, the multiple goal kickers for Sturt this afternoon. And what do the stats tell us?
Yeah, the stats tell us it's still fairly even, as expected. Sturt continued on their merry way with the handballs. Free kicks very even, the hit-outs very much even as well. On the inside 50s, West Adelaide have gone forward. They've just moved the ball a little bit too slowly through the midfield and really haven't given the Darren Bradshaw, the Tim Signs and even the Scott Hahns that opportunity.
Well, joining us now down on the boundary line, Michael Curtis, one of the Sturt players, sidelined at the moment. And Michael, it might be hard to get back in the side, I would have thought.
But Chua says he just put on the board themselves.
And we've just got a bit of a problem, I think, with the Michael. We're instead going to go across to the huddle and have a listen while we try and get that microphone right. Not much noise coming from the huddle either. So, Andrew, the Sturt would be, well, pretty pleased, although they have, as I think you suggested at one stage, they flirted with their form a bit.
I thought they flirted with their form a bit, and they've just opened the game up in that quarter. And I just feel as though that typifies a day. They're not excited about being here today. Perhaps their minds are drifting on to maybe next week.
We couldn't blame them in some ways for that. What would the Eagles be taking out of it sitting out on the far side of the ground?
Well, they would be looking at matchups. They see that James Begley is an important person to Sturt. They would say Toby Thurston's can well and truly hold down full back, so they have had some new inclusions.
So, as you've been listening, what have you picked up?
Yeah, well, Brenton Phillips and Bradley Ryan, the assistant coach, have just made their way down. The players pretty confident, 4 goals to 1. There was a good return for the Double Blues. They did have the advantage of a slight breeze. At the moment, the confidence is there. They're just saying, let's keep doing the little things. We know the Sturt game plan is to run, give the ball, respect the players doing the running, where they use that handball as a weapon, and that's certainly going to be the plan for that last term now.
And so does, look, Dad, you've been involved with the club, played with the club, and recently even retired from the club. But you were involved last year and pretty close to it. What's the feeling like around the place, remembering their defending premiers, the Double Blues?
Well, we saw last year they didn't defeat Central Districts all year until the grand final, even losing a final against them. I think Sturt are really confident and have the belief that they can really turn it on when they want. We've seen that in patches during this year, especially that game against West Adelaide, where at half-time they were near 100 points up. So I think they will go in with a lot of confidence.
Now we're going into the Sturt huddle to have a listen to Brenton Phillips.
Get out of this game what you want to put in it. That's the bottom line. You only get out of this game what you're prepared to put into it. If you're prepared to work hard, let's just create it as a fitness thing. If nothing else, it's a fitness thing. It's an ability to work on the small things which are the big things in this football club. The small things, taking the hands. Take ground take hands, when we go to give the first option straight away. First thought. I want to see first thought. Not shall I, shan't I, will I. Get the bloke second guessing on it. I just want to see first thought. First thought is there to give. If not, you take the break and get it up to the tall blokes up there. Let's get after it. Come on, let's go.
So the Sturt players just breaking from the huddle, and we'll bring you some news of half-time down at Alberton, where, of course, goalpost fell over, and as a result they had to replace it. So it's only half-time at Alberton, a short half-time of just 5 minutes. Port Adelaide leading by 17 points. And when the post went over, the margin was only 2 points in favour of Glenelg. So obviously they finished on pretty well. Central by 36 over South Adelaide. And Michael Curtis, now I think we've got a microphone that works. Tell me, what have you thought of this afternoon, and do you think there is a place for you in the side?
Well, obviously I think there's a place for me in the side. I'd love to get back in the side. I'd love to be playing now. And I think the boys are playing really well at the moment. They're doing exactly what the coach was asked for them at the start of the game. And I'd love to be out there, yes.
And Michael, tell me, it's been a difficult season in many ways for the Blues because you've had some injuries, but also a lot of AFL players going up and back. But what's the feeling like around the place? You prepared to go that extra yard for another premiership?
Well, I definitely think we are. I think the feeling around the club will be if we don't make a grand final, we certainly have underachieved.
So very much like Port Adelaide in the AFL, you would have thought that you think you are definitely a top 2 side.
Oh, I definitely think we are a top 2 side, yeah.
Well, Michael, that's unfortunately, because of that little microphone problem, probably all we've got time for. We're just about to start the final term here. Thanks for joining us. Good luck getting back into the side for the finals. Here's Michael Maney to take up the call.
Michael Curtis, they'd love to have him in the side. That is for sure. 11-8-74 to the Double Blues. 28 points the difference. 7-4-46 West Adelaide. The highest margin so far in the game was 26 points in favour of Sturt at one stage early in the third term. Can West Adelaide, second on the ladder, come back and make a big game of this in the final term? They'll kick with a slight breeze in the final turn to left of screen. Umpire Williams sets us away in the final term, and as has been the case in the other quarters, a secondary bounce as they lock it up right in the centre. Peter Williams just clearing some space there for himself. Good bounce. Umpires have been good today, as Andrew Rogers said in that third term. He's always been an umpire's favourite. Taken by Nathan, although they never gave him any McGarry medal votes. Taken by Powell. Just a wobbly old ball to half forward. Squire, who's had little impact on this game, just kicks it high. Rutten just knocked it away from White. Roved his own ball. Well played by Ben Rutten. Just kicks to a contest. Good mark taken by Fisher. He's going to be a good player, this bloke.
Right there.
Nothing much on for Sam Fisher. Goes into the centre where Dabrowski has run off. Hands off to Paul Pleasure to Tuck. Tuck's got to get round the tackle of Graham. Does well, burns a couple off and kicks it inside 50, hoping for a mark. Thurston's at the back, ball over the back. Smith missed it as well. In goes Kennedy, ball loose, taken by Bradshaw, ridden into the ground. Free kick for the Bloods. go. The young bloke just took off onto the ground. And
As you can see in the background, as you can see in the background, the play's actually started.
The young fella, pretty keen to get out there amongst it. He's going to have to wait about another 15 or 20 years, 15 years at least. Darren Bradshaw has kicked 3, is on 87 for the year, and Brant Chambers kicked 2 check side goals from a similar position. He's going to run around and kick a check side. Can he do it? I think he might have done. He's kicked it behind.
Just through lack of opportunities today, really, Darren Bradshaw, as I said, hasn't had the same amount of opportunities. Certainly in the Sturt side, I think he would end up with a similar type of goal stat to Brant Chambers up there. But they just have moved the ball too slowly in to give him one-on-one contests.
Sturt opting for a long kick in. They've certainly found it easier going than on this particular occasion when bringing the ball back into play from the minor score. We'll get a throw in, 60 metres from the Sturt defensive end of the ground at left half back. Ball back into play. And again, a lot of players around the ball. Andrew Rogers has mentioned that he'd like to see some players just try and lead their men away from the ball and open it up.
Just read my mind there, Neil. I'm just thinking exactly the same thing. I wonder if it's actually Sean Red instigated or whether it's actually Brenton Phillips instigated.
We know Phillips has said last year when faced with those sort of tactics, the close-in tactics from Centrals, that he doesn't like them. Here's a snap from Hassan. It goes pretty close. Bradshaw with the mark, though. In the forward pocket, so he'll get a go from the opposite side to where he kicked his last point, and this time goes out, goes around, no problems at all. And 4 this afternoon for Darren Bradshaw, and that just reminds me that we do have confirmation that that goal that was in dispute down the other end of the ground, Nick Malinowski got it with the little toe, I think, but he has been confirmed as the goal kicker, getting it ahead of Tim Symes, and there's no doubt about who kicked that one.
And it's important today, we've seen Brant Chambers very much go through a process to kick his check side goals, and Darren Bradshaw similarly there was aware of what was around him, and simple for a right footer, but as a goal kicking forward, he should actually practice that come training nights.
Nice goal to Darren Bradshaw back in the centre. Bishop got it down, shark by tuck, as his father used to do so well for Hawthorn in the AFL. Taken by Clun, can't burst through. Just on Shane Tuck. Too old now?
Probably is, and probably the thing that's going to hold him back is he's a very good, honest footballer. There's just nothing special about him. He's not quick, not great overhead, not super skills. He's just a very good, honest footballer.
So too Kennedy, who kicks forward. White just gave his opponent Rutten a nudge, couldn't complete the mark. Norman gets Rutten into all sorts of bother. Miles, that defence working overtime for the Bloods. Dre, looping handball to Donaldson, so that relieves the pressure. Donaldson just lopes out of half-back, wants to square it back into the middle. This is danger. Dabrowski and Bishop. Bishop in front. Dabrowski did well on the ground. Poor pleasure for the long arms in tuck. Just coughed it up to Kennedy. He's had a couple of touches. Good kick. Finds Weatherall. Weatherall, a bounce. What's he got in front of himself? Howman wasn't ready for it. Good enough to double back. Drafted by the Hawks in 1996. Short kick. Marked by Begley. And Begley will shoot for goal.
Nonchalantly grabs a left-handed, one-handed handball there, but you can see Tim Weatherall just not backing himself in when he gets within goals. He's actually got Andrew Howman in the pocket if he wants to use him, but he's not going to. But James Begley just continues to grow in stature, and as I said earlier, you really feel he is destined for greater things in the SANFL.
Tim Weatherall definitely not fit. 2 kicks, 9 handballs.
Doesn't want to kick any distance at all, that hip problem. Long kick by Begley. Is it going to carry the pack? It doesn't.
Doesn't need to.
Even White.
And the place to be if you're a forward, you're kicking into the breeze, the ball's going to drop quickly. The place to be is in front, and where he actually took that mark, and we'll get a look at it on the replay, was that he actually took it lower than at full stretch. So Ben Rutten was unable to sweep his arms or even get a fist on the footy. So he gets it his first of the day. We see here Howman just works the ball back in space. Good presence to look back inside, and there's that nonchalant one-hander from Begley. And you can see there, just in front of the pack, all Ben Rutten really had to do was hit an arm. He elected to go for the footy, and White takes a quite simple mark, nonchalantly goes back, kicks his first goal for the day. And Sturt, as I said all day, just seemed to have the answers.
27 points margin. Still early in the final term. Stadler has shown they can come back. That's a big ask, even with the aid of what breeze there is this afternoon at Richmond. Paul Kennedy is one of the best readers of the ball off the hands that you'll ever see. Just under pressure, and there he goes. Look at that hand pass on cue. Out they go in the middle. Wicks, long kick. Down looking for Squire. Got his man away from the ball, but Miles was good enough to punch it away in the end. Takes it towards the boundary and over the boundary. We'll get a throw in.
It's a good player, Dion Miles. Can play small or can play tall. Has very much done the job on Damien Squire today. And a dangerous Damien Squire. He'll be gearing himself for a big finals campaign.
So Bishop and Dabrowski spent some time at school together, going against each other in the ruck. Flicked out that hand pass, didn't see who it was, might have been Begley. As a result, Sturt come free, not quite. Howman, Nelson, Weatherall. Likes the short kick, just his third of the afternoon to Begley. Plays on, now he's in trouble. Piacenti not fooled by the hips, stayed with it. 4 kicks now becomes 5 for Weatherall. Clun's kick was smothered. Norman, high, long. Hahn, this has been an interesting battle. The Wicks comes across the front. Hahn and Whiteman has been very interesting. Daniel Wicks read that one better.
Wicks in short, looking for White. Why wouldn't you? Just worked his way back into the contest. Big Stephen kicked his first goal a moment ago. Tackled by Dabrowski. Umpire said play on. Picked up by Sheedy. Sheedy, a left footer to the square. Chambers couldn't quite hold on. Umpire said play on. Dre will get a free kick, will he, for a push.
Back to back 5 metres. No score.
You can hear umpire Peter Williams shouting out the instructions there. As Chambers just couldn't quite get it. And Dre just infringed. Outer side of the ground, Dabrowski in front of Bishop. Kick, just coughed it up. Taken by Sheedy. Sheedy on a full burst. Inside 50. Low ball, disappointing. Taken by Clun. Handball over the top. Was it Squire? The handball over the top. Looking for Chambers, and the ball was rushed through from behind.
Sturt really had a chance really to ice this game and put it out of West Adelaide's reach. Good play there by Luke Norman to work back hard.
Well, Westies bring the ball in quickly. Tuck has 2 players out, running wide for him. One of them is Nathan. 4 of the plays got Hahn running for him, as well as Rutten. Rutten with possession, strides towards the 50, fancies his chances. He's made the distance away just to the right. And as Andrew would say, well, if you're going to miss, you should miss to the right.
Yeah, he should miss to that side, or whichever the breeze side is, Neil. But Ben Rutten probably should have done a little bit more with that. Had a number of other players, West Adelaide players he could have used. Elected to go for the ball on his own and couldn't finish with a goal. And it would have been an important goal. Would have got West Adelaide right back in this game.
Particularly at the 9.5 minute mark, where they need to get some early goals. And Ben Rutten just astray. Good work by Hassan there to knock the ball away from Graham from the Thurston's kick out. Bishop in there. Well done. Whiteman got it to Wicks. Good if you can catch him. Coughed it up. Norman. He got Nathan on the outer side of the ground. Might go longer. He'll go shorter to Howard. Taken by Malinovsky. Back to Norman. Tries to burst through. Gets the handball away to Tuck. Tuck to Nathan. Now Nathan will load it up. Wobbly old ball. I think it might have the carry. It is away to the right again. So the Bloods under a bit of pressure there. And just missing to the right.
Yeah, just missed another opportunity, but Andrew Howman went for the bump in the middle against Luke Norman. Well, first and foremost, he's ridden the bumper now to get off a handball, wrap him up in the tackle, possibly cause a turnover, and the ball would now be probably down the other end.
Maloney bringing the ball back in, goes long. Thurston comes from behind, brings it to ground. Good strength by Nelson, works the 1-2 with Bishop. Then forward to Begley, in a bit of space on the wing, backs himself with his pace, down towards half forward. White was the target. White was a very, very good target. Looks around, on the lead. Chambers should take it, does take it. Mark to Sturt, he'll have a shot on goal. Or maybe not, just looks around. There's a couple of options, including on this side of the ground, Weatherall. But Weatherall would be 35 metres from goal and probably couldn't make the distance. So Chambers backs himself. Quick chance to give scores from other grounds. Obviously, in the last quarter, out at Centrals, they lead by 29 points over South Adelaide. You would see, try it again. Centrals will get the minor premiership as Chambers lines it up. Is it going to make it? Doesn't quite make it. Rushed through for the behind. The other match on this afternoon, Port Adelaide by 11 points over Glenelg. Obviously, that would be the third quarter because they had that big delay when the post went down.
Get the feeling that Ben Nelson and James Beckley are going to have a really big effect on how far Sturt go. Now, if the Crows got a few injuries and they call them up, they could be lost, but they're going to be important cog in this Sturt assault.
Dre from half-back finds Glover, impressed with his skill. A couple waiting in the centre. The kick to tuck, well done by Maloney, who does that so well. Handball over the top, finds Begley, who uses Howman, who had Weatherald running. Begley got it back to Weatherald. Now Weatherald's got a kick from about 40. He's going to make the distance, is he? Chambers still couldn't quite make it from about 40, Timmy Weatherald, but found Brad Chambers, who's kicked 5.
Yeah, you're on there.
And will shoot for his 6th, and you would think
Right there, Luke.
shut out any chance of West Adelaide winning this game.
And you just feel as though, once again, similar to Darren Bradshaw, just needs to work through the process here. Take his time, go back, nail the goal, and very much stick the nail in the coffin here and ice this victory for Sturt.
Chambers from 10 metres out. Goal umpire does a bit of work, but I think he's threaded through. Goal number 6. 6 goals, 1 to the big man, who now goes to 59 goals in this season, and he is an important player leading up into the finals, Andrew.
He certainly will be, along with White and Feast and other options that they've got up there. It's good play by Seamus Maloney, able to read that centre and kick to bring it back into the middle, cause a turnover. A series of handball gets it forward to Tim Weatherald, who from 40 metres out, I was proven pretty right, only kicked at 35. But Brad Chambers read it pretty well and finishes off with a very good day for him.
Biggest margin of the game now. Sturt by 33 points. At Unley in round 16, they beat Westies by 78. And in round 9 at Richmond, it was Westies by 29. Howard tackled by Weatherall. Donaldson paddles. Maloney comes the other way. Premiership captain last year, unexpectedly so in many ways. Tell you why in a moment as he fishes out another hand pass forward. Sturt with the runners. Nelson will kick for goal from 54. Goal is away to the right. So Nelson missing, of course, Maloney stepping in last year when the skipper in Chris Threadgold, who I saw out running this morning, he still looks like he could play, but Threadgold was dropped from the grand final side.
It's attractive footy when they run it through the midfield, and unfortunately Ben Nelson couldn't finish. But I suspect it will send a chill through the rest of the SANFL.
How does Sean Wren deal with what's going to happen now? He can't win the game, so what does he try in the last 15 minutes or so as Chambers comes off?
Yeah, I think what he's got to really do is try to work the players into what he can and work them into form. Get Scotty Hahn on the footy. Just let blokes know what's going on. It's getting a little bit too easy here for Sturt at the moment. But they've just got to work their way through and get their players, their better players, into good touch.
Good work by the double blues. Maloney running that ball down, and Damien Squire just so easy. Just sells the dummy a la Darren Jarman. And the double blues will not be headed in this match.
And that's an important touch there for Damien Squire, who hasn't had the best of days. Dylan Miles has done pretty well on him today. You can see only 1 goal, 1. He's going to be an important, experienced finals player, dual McGarry medalist. He's going to be an important player come finals time.
Yes, can play. Damien Squire. And as much as Sean Wren wants to run players into form, I'm sure Brenton Phillips would like the idea of Damien Squire running into form in the finals.
I just think Squire can just turn it on. I think if he decides he just wants to play, come to play, I just think he can just flick that switch. He's good enough to do that.
And I think importantly he also attracts a very good defender, and it releases other players, other probably lesser known Sturt players, to be able to get a lesser defender.
Westies just forcing the ball forward. Hahn eventually gets on the end of it, gets a clean kick away. Bradshaw from behind the line comes in front. Now it's play on. Oh no, rush through. Now Bradshaw dropped that ball and then opted, just soccer it through, and he missed it. As a result, the umpire said no, that's play on. And Sturt players quickly to rush it through. Have a look at this.
He's done that wonderfully well there to push Smith out of the road. He's then gone to play on and fell over, and unfortunately he's tried to sock it off the ground and just had an airy.
You can see what he was on about, had the right idea, but just lost his footing. Clun looks for Bishop. Good mark, Tuck. It's been great value for the Bloods this year. He's got Nathan on in the centre of the ground, decides to kick to half forward, hoping for a mark now. Symes has set himself. Good mark by Symes. Haven't probably seen enough of that today. It was good early, Tim Symes. Can he play a role in the finals, Tim Symes?
I think he can. I don't know if it's centre half forward all day, but I think he can play a role, and it might be just a pinch hitter, centre half forward, maybe forward pocket to take some pressure off Darren Bradshaw.
Right on 50, Tim Symes, 194 game veteran, the oldest man out there at 34. Just pushed it away to the right. It's not going to make the distance. They all fly. And Sheedy will just run it to the line. Bradshaw grabs him, and a free kick will go for the McGarry medalist in Jade Sheedy.
I don't know about that call that he never had it. He's had it a few times today, but he just wise heads there, just moved the ball, handballed the ball out in front of him, waited for the tackler.
Look at this, opening up on this side of the ground. Thurston's has got about 150 metres to his nearest player, and he just lopes away. Seamus Maloney gives him a nudge and says, go on, keep going. Approaches 50. Thurston's needs a good leg from there. Gets it up towards goal. Run. Great mark. The number 7 for Westies in front of Big White. Hand pass, and now Westies will come down the other side of the ground. Long kick finds Nordhausen. Nordhausen in turn goes up towards centre half forward. Hahn. Whiteman comes from behind. What a battle that's been. Fisher just inside 50 with a hit and hope. From behind, Bradshaw hits the pack hard. Well rode by Malinovsky. Slaps it forward, Hassan. Hassan on the score. Finishes flat on his back. Or at least his front.
Yeah, you just wonder about that one there. Maybe a push, but Darren Bradshaw, great leap there. Generally very renowned for his chest marks. Good play there by Malinowski to work the ball forward. And Solomon Hassan just got a slight push by Ben Nelson. Now he's having a shot, so good pressure there by Ben Nelson.
Graham from half-back finds Toby Thurstons, and he'll be an important link in the Double Blues. Thrust for a back-to-back flags. Long kick by Thurstons. That's if he doesn't play for the power. Kennedy quite have control of that. Howman looking for Wicks. Well played, Donaldson. Held on to. No free kick. Wicks just screws it round, looking for Begley. Begley gets the handle on it. Norman under pressure. Goes back to Kennedy, who's got Weatherall in the pocket. Now he'll go for goal. Tim Weatherall keeps it low, and I think he's popped it through. That's his distance today, Timmy Weatherall, from 15. Lovely goal to the Double Blues as they warm up for next week against the Eagles.
And it was great vision by Daniel Wicks out here to just chip the ball out in front of Begley, and Begley just good hands there, brings it over the top, and Kennedy with good vision out wide. And you can see Tim Weatherall takes his time, so there's nothing thrown in. He's within range. A little bit of right to left there on the kick, and he gets a goal, and he's one player that will surely benefit from today's hit out.
Margin now out to 44 points. Starts to get a bit of a headache for your Westies coaching staff, I would have thought. Takes a big blow. They head in 2 weeks into a second semi-final against Central District for the right to go straight to the grand final. They lose, they come back here to face the winner of the match between Sturt and the Eagles, and the Eagles coach there, Ronnie Fuller, an interested spectator on the right there. The glasses on, and as you can see, shading his eyes in the sun, which has been out pretty much all day here at Richmond. The sun's been shining for the Sturt football side, that's for sure. Here's Begley off the left foot. No, had time for a bounce, just to get the stats up on number of bounces. Now shares the ball back to Kennedy. Kennedy, awkward looking kick, gets it up towards the goals, 2-on-1, and that'll be a free kick. No, he's going to pay the mark, in fact. So Rutten still gets the ball in the end as he ran off his player in Chambers, and Malinovsky marking at half-back. Wicks pulls him down, that'll be 25 metres.
It's pretty much a no-brainer for the umpire there, wasn't it? But it's not bad play, it just slowed the play down. Once again, it's been West Adelaide's Achilles heel today. They have moved the ball slowly forward, and they haven't really given their forwards many one-on-one opportunities.
Change down there, so does.
Yeah, Stephen White just coming off for a break. Brand Chambers back on the ground.
Clearly it wasn't Chambers in the goal square there, must have been White.
Spot on, Neil. Luke Norman. Penetrating kick to half forward. Howard at the back. No mark. Off the top. Taken by Hassan. To Hahn. Now, he hasn't had a clear shot at goal today. Hahn. His kick just goes over the top of Bradshaw. Smith's there. Will he run it through from behind? No. Good defensive work by the former Port Adelaide player. Kicks to the outer side. Squire just shook Nathan. Good kick to Begley, who's just about BOG today, James Begley. Over the top to Thurston's. Thurston's wheels around casually, finds Weatherall right in the centre square. He's got Chambers short. Good chip. And Chambers, after having about 7 or 8 minutes on the bench, he's kicked 6 so far today. Brant Chambers will line up for goal number 7. 6 goals won for the big number 7, the former Darwin player.
Just some worrying signs there from West. Way too easy there for the Double Blues.
Saving himself a little bit. Could be. Big kick from Chambers. Won't quite get the accuracy. Got the distance. Not a bad kick from there by Chambers. Just the one behind. 6 goals, 2.
James Begley up to 30 possessions now for Sturt. 13 kicks and 17 handballs. His Crows teammate Ben Nelson's had 26.
Be very surprised if Ron Fuller's not having a very close look at James Begley and perhaps a match-up for next week.
Fisher, Hahn, running from the back for Westies, long down towards the wing. Astray with the kick, Graham pulls it in, shares it immediately. Sheedy will get a shepherd at least from Kennedy. Now Sheedy into the half-forward line and beyond, looking for Beveridge. Punch came, Donaldson, shared it wide. Miles, got a player running on this side for him if he can get it to him. He does eventually. Nordhausen, now he's in trouble. Surrounded by Sturt players. Well done by the young man. Managed to get away. Cooney chipped to Fisher. Fisher in turn will go long. Maloney will come from behind if necessary. Bad bounce for Maloney. Read it all the way except the bounce, and now on the ground. Dabrowski did well. Got the hand passed out. Hassan around the corner. There's a goal for Westies. Much needed. Salim Hassan has his first for the afternoon.
An ironical cheers from the West Adelaide faithful, but good play there by Brad Dabrowski. You can see he brings the ball to ground, pulls and racks it back between his legs, and a good swift handball out to Salim Hassan, who finishes nicely. And West Adelaide just, you know, although they're going through the motions, they just need to keep this margin. They can kick a couple of late goals. It gives a positive spin going into next week.
With Piasanti off the ground, the score to Hassan's West leading possession getter with 14 kicks, 9 handballs.
Nearly three-quarter time in the Port Glenelg game, and Port lead by 4 points and Central's by 47 over South. So an update from a couple of the other games being played this afternoon. Of course, Norwood beating North Adelaide last night. Symes gets the handball away. 39 points the difference in favour of Sturt. Malinovsky couldn't get on the end of it. Scotty Hahn, who's been well covered today, short to Piasanti. They may get another goal here, West Adelaide. Piasanti's just hooked the kick. And a behind, back to 38 points the difference. And Piasanti, a good opportunity there, no pressure.
Yeah, he's been good today. He's certainly had the better of Daniel Wicks and certainly stamped his authority on today's game and put his hand up for Sean Wren to say, look, I want to be part of this side. There have been a number of players, and probably the younger players, that have left the West Adelaide coach down today.
Seamus Maloney taking his time, then spears a pass which misses the target, followed by Kennedy. The quick hands, then wide they go, looking for Thurston. Just ran out of space on the far side of the ground.
Kennedy's made a statement today in the limited game time that he's had. He's got some very, very good kicks, like possessions, and really has sharked the ball well, hasn't he?
He's a good player and very much adds to their midfield. He can come off the bench and really give them some impact, and I think he's, once again, in the wider open spaces of Football Park, could become very crucial.
He's had a couple of years of, well, nothing more than bad luck, really. He had a cyst removed from his neck, and that caused him to miss most of a season. He played about 10 minutes of league footy last year in his comeback before breaking his collarbone.
He's had 3 and 5 in his limited time on the ground so far.
Like a lot of the Sturt midfield, more handballs than kicks. Ball at centre wing, just a lull late in this match. Well into time on. 38 points the margin in favour of the Double Blues. They'll go into the major round pretty confident, I would have thought. even though they'll be in a knockout final first up.
Yeah, they will. They've known their fate now for a couple of weeks, I suppose, and they can build towards that, and their planning would go towards the Eagles come tonight. But I suspect they're going to play a major role and probably will go in second favourites into the final series.
Behind Central District, no doubt, as Wicks kicks the ball forward for West Adelaide. Daniel Wicks now over the ball again for Sturt. Comes out to Whiteman. He'll want the boundary line. Tuck, he wanted to keep it in. Well done, set up Nordhausen. Great work by Shane Tuck. Go across and congratulate him, Nordhausen, because that was really well done, and he laid it on for his teammate.
He's a wonderful player, Shane Tuck. I mean, a wonderful recruit for West Adelaide this year. He's a type of player who's probably not going to go to the next level. We spoke about him earlier, but he brings some real desperation, and he could well turn out to be a 200-game player here at the Bloods, and a great recruit for them. And Nordhausen just gets his name on the scoreboard. Whether or not he's part of the mix next week, well, that's up to Sean Wren to determine.
You wouldn't like a couple of late goals if you were Bretton Phillips, just conceding a couple of goals to Westies.
No, I think that would put a positive spin as far as West Adelaide are concerned.
8 goals to 4 in the second half to the Double Blues. Wetherell out of the centre. Begley, who just knocked up getting the footy from the 50 line. Long kick by Begley has just hit the post, I think. They look superb going forward. James Begley, 30-odd possessions.
It is attractive footy when they get going, and a wonderful handball out of the middle. Well shepherded there by Brant Chambers. Just got to be a little bit more aware of where he is, but I would have finished a wonderful passage of play.
Westies going to bring the ball back in quickly. Rutten down the far side of the ground. Beautiful spot up. Hassan tries to run away from Thurstons. Thurstons did well. Done very well. That's holding the ball. Took a bounce. Obviously did not feel the pressure. And Thurstons just a word or two, and that'll be 25 too.
25? No, yep. No, it's here. It's here. It's here now. No, yeah, but you put him in the back, in the face.
There you heard it right from umpire Craig Doddridge. He was going to give 25 for Hassan's reaction, and then you heard him say Thurstons pushed Hassan in the face, so he kept the mark where it was. Drives down towards the centre wing, and somehow, and the crowd not very happy with it, Sheedy gets a mark. He looked like he pushed a West Adelaide player fairly swiftly aside. Ball down towards half forward, 2-on-1. Sturt with the numbers. Bishop didn't get his hand to the ball. It was roved by Wetherall. Works a 1-2 of sorts with Graham. Now Wetherall loose. Oh, brilliant vision from Squire. Just spotted up Nelson and was good enough to get it under the arms of the defenders and up to Ben Nelson, who has kicked 3 this afternoon and surely will line up for number 4 and kick that as well at the 28-minute mark. It's almost all over here at Richmond. It certainly is if you're a Bloods fan.
And Damien Squire brings that to the side. You cannot let him have a number of possessions. If he gets 20 possessions, he's going to really kill you, and you can see the quality of his possessions there.
So Nelson, just from 20 metres out, Sturt will go into the major round on the back of a 39-point victory, in fact, over West Adelaide. Well done to the Double Blues. Too good this afternoon. Westies, well, they've got the task before them now, taking on Centrals in the second semi-final in a couple of weeks. Sturt 16-13-109. West Adelaide 10-10-70.
And I came here today thinking that West Adelaide had a real opportunity of casting aside some doubts about their ability to play finals footy, and I still think there's those doubts about whether or not they are capable of standing up come a finals campaign. I probably suspected that Sturt were the real deal at the start of the day, and they certainly confirmed that today. The addition of Toby Thurstons, Ben Nelson, James Begley had some real quality to this side, and their midfield, as I said at the start of the day, were probably going to be too good for the West Adelaide midfield. Sean Wren has got it all to do now. He's got to get his positive spin, put himself back to be positive for next week's game against Centrals.
And Brant Chambers, one of the well-performed forwards, is with Mark Soderstrom.
Thanks, Neil. Well, Brant looked like a pretty good against some tough opposition.
No, it was a good win, yeah. It's always the way we wanted to sort of go into the finals. The lead up was a win against someone who's going to be in there. And a good win like that's definitely the way we want to go into it.
Now, you must have thought it was Christmas at the first quarter with that ball coming down here.
Yeah, I thought, here we go. Probably end up on 3 for the day.
No, you did very well, 6 goals, and a lot of talk about your accuracy's improved a lot. Has that been a lot of work over summer, or is it really just a confidence thing?
Oh, I think it's a bit of a confidence thing, and a lot of hard work's gone into it too, through Mickey Wetherell and a lot of other people sort of helped me out, and it's just come along well, and hopefully we can keep it doing it.
And no doubt you can take a lot of confidence in the next week's final against the Eagles.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely look forward to it, and hopefully we can follow on from that.
All right, mate, we look forward to seeing you next week.
No worries, cheers.
Brad Chambers, you can detect from that, short of a few words, I think, one of the quieter achievers in the Sturt Football Club. So we've seen a few smiles around there, and why not? It's a good victory. Although the Westies fans congratulating their players on what's been a pretty good round of the home and away season. West Adelaide finished with a record of 15 wins and 5 losses, and they will finish in second place behind Central District. The Sturt Football Club finished with a record of 13 wins and 7 losses in third place, and you hear the Double Blues fans congratulating their players on a very, very good victory this afternoon by 39 points.
And West Adelaide really have been probably the surprise pack of the season for a number of years. They've languished around 5th or 6th, just making the finals and going out in the elimination final. They really have, under Sean Wren, done a wonderful job, and they thoroughly deserve their second spot.
Brad Chambers, pretty good afternoon. As we see some of the highlights of the game. And this was pretty clever from Tim Symes. The controversial goal to Nick Malinowski getting on the end of this. Now, I'm still not convinced that he actually kicked that ball. Let's have a look again. Oh. Well, it was a goal anyway, but Sturt kicked plenty of goals as well.
They certainly did, and when they run the ball through the midfield, they are irrepressible. They run in numbers, they can finish nicely, they do the hard things well, and Cooper and Powell and places and players like that are really important in that aspect. They can be prone to turn the ball over when they are under pressure, and that's what Central Districts do really well to them. They put them under real pressure, and this handball, you see the one just missed there, but if they do miss handballs and they turn the ball over, they can be hurt on the rebound. And in last year's grand final, they were very clean. This year, they've been clean again. They seem to be building momentum come finals time.
They led by 19 points at quarter time, by 8 at half time, 28 at three-quarter time, and then kicked away to win the game by 39 points. Ben Nelson, have a look at that, off the outside of the foot, no worries.
Yeah, the two class players, sorry, there's 3 probably class players. Brad Chambers was really good up forward. We say he'd take a telling mark here. The Sturt player behind him, James Begley, was best on ground, and Ben Nelson with his 4 goals and a number of possessions in the midfield. They were the 3 class players of the day, and West Adelaide really didn't have anyone that was able to produce a similar type effort.
A couple of left footers there, and Stephen White, and that time it was Matthew Cooper. He swings the ball home so well.
It does. You start to match up on the Sturt midfield, and you start saying we've got to pick up Begley, we've got to pick up Cooper, we've got to start picking up Weatherold and a number of other players, and unfortunately you run out of tags and you're going to play a very defensive game.
Well, as we look at that final score, West Adelaide, wonder what they learned out of today. 10-10-70, and as we said, Sturt kicking away to kick 16-13 or 109. Quick look through those goal kickers. The multiples were Darren Bradshaw with 4. He finishes with the Ken Farmer medal, and Brad Chambers kicking 6 and Ben Nelson 4 for Sturt. What do you make of the stats? Moggy, give us the top 2 from both sides.
Yes, for the Sturt side, James Begley had 31, Ben Nelson 27. For West, David Piacenti 21, Salim Hassan 23.
No surprises, I guess, to see Begley and Nelson up the top as we go down and hear the Sturt club song. It's the Double Blues, defending premiers, and gee, they look a good thing for this year as well, even though they have to come from 3rd place. I guess it'll be a confident coach. He's with Sodas. Brenton Phillips, the Sturt coach.
Thanks, Neil. Brenton, looked like a pretty tough start, but you must have been happy with the way the boys held West at bay all day.
Yeah, look, it was a funny day, and I went into this game thinking, what are we going to get out of it? And really, I think at the end of the day, you only get out what you put into it, and we seemed to put a bit into the game, and we got the just result, rewards for it.
In your second year, first year last year, obviously a sensational way to start the coaching career. How do you assess where the team is at this stage now compared to last year?
Geez, we're pretty similar. I reckon this stage last year we're about the same. What we had to do this stage last year was win 3 finals to win a premiership, and we got the same equation in front of us. We've got to win 3 finals now to win a premiership, and that's our sole focus. We set ourselves to play finals football first and foremost, and then when we get there, we take care of it when we get there.
Now, Scott Hahn coming into this game, kicking 37 goals, one of their real threats. I thought Andrew Whiteman today was terrific on him.
Yeah, look, Andrew Whiteman's a real unsung hero of our side. You know, he does all the hard things, and I'm just at him all the time about the hard, aggressive things that he does well, backs back in the packs and does all the stuff that you wouldn't want your own son doing it. So, and he does it perfectly.
And you've had a bit of a tough run with injuries of late, just starting to come together well. The AFL clubs have done you a few favours as well. Competition now for spots in the side is pretty tough.
I think that's what we base our side around, and that's one of the pleasures of coaching, I suppose, and also one of the downsides of coaching. You've got to make some hard decisions, and what I say to this group of boys, I've got to make some hard decisions in terms of leaving their mates out. They've got to stand up for their mates and show that is the right decision.
Yep, and delivering a premiership last year shows that making the hard decisions does pay off. Now, Sticko, also... You've got Gary Ayres there with the Crows. They're looking good. James Begley was absolutely magnificent today. Have you come up with a way of trying to get him to keep his hands off Begley and leaving him at Sturt for the rest of the year?
I was thinking about playing him on the bench in the second half, but I didn't think that was quite warranted. But look, if they go across to the AFL and play in an AFL final, well, that's fantastic. I reckon we get a win-win out of it. And what I say to these blokes is when they come back to this football club, they come back with the right attitude. They don't come back with the dirties on with the world. They come back with the right attitude to play football here. And when they do that, they contribute to the team environment.
Yep. Well, Brenton, thanks very much for your time. Congratulations today. We look forward to the final next week.
Thanks, Mark.
Back up to you there, Neil.
Yes, a very comprehensive performance by Sturt, wasn't it, Sodas? You would think they would very much go in next week against the Eagles as an absolute favourite.
Yeah, I think without doubt. And we did see last year they went into their finals confidently, and they were able to turn it on at the right time. And I think this year they look like they are in a similar position, as Brenton did mention then.
OK, thanks for that, Sodas. Down in the rooms, we'll look at the other matches, Andrew. And, of course, last night, Norwood over North by 34 points. Disappointing season for Norwood. Now, Port Adelaide and Glenelg, at the moment, it's three-quarter time. Port by 16 points. If you've just joined us, you're wondering why. The post fell over. Unbelievable. They've had a half-an-hour delay. And Centrals by 36 points over South Adelaide confirms Centrals as the minor premier and obviously the favourite for the flag.
Yeah, I think so. Interestingly for Centrals, 3 years in a row. First team to do it since the mid-80s by North Adelaide. But, look, they will go in as favourites. I think, once again, they have proved themselves the best side in the competition. Be very wary of Sturt, though.
Well, interesting you say that. The mid-80s, 85, 86, 87. North Adelaide, 3 minor premierships in a row for only 1 premiership, and that was in 1987. They played the Bays, of course, in 3 grand finals in a row.
Yeah, I would suspect if Centrals don't win it this year, they really have underachieved. They've certainly had 2000, 2001 as wonderful years for them. Last year, gone in as favourites and very firm favourites against Sturt and lost. This year, again, I suspect they're going to go in as favourites. The real difference being maybe that they've gone in with a better preparation than last year.
Yeah, maybe so. As we look at that, the final premiership table, pending that result, as we said, between Port and Glenelg, delayed by half an hour. But the top 4, of course, doesn't change. Centrals finishing with 16 wins in the minor premiership. Westies second with 15 wins. Then down to Sturt, who will play the Eagles in the first semi-final next week. Sturt with 13 wins and the Eagles with 12 and 8. And they are a very interesting side, the Eagles, and certainly they will give Sturt a run for their money, if not beat them.
Well, they'll be very honest, I suppose. That's what you expect from the Eagles. They haven't been able to beat a top 2 or a top 3 side for the whole season, so I can't really see what's going to change next week.
Well, take note that, of course, the first semi-final is on Sunday on ABC TV from 2:30 p.m. Great to look forward to going to Football Park. I'm sure the players do for the Sturt versus Eagles game. And, Andrew, happy Father's Day in advance of tomorrow.
Well, happy Father's Day for you too. And Mackenzie's been working away very diligently as we hold up the card. She's been working very hard. You can see that he's written Daddy on here. Love from Mac. And that's your card there. Happy Father's Day for you.
Thank you very much. And happy Father's Day in advance for all the fathers out there. We'll see you next week from Footy Park when we have the first semi-final between the Eagles and Sturt from 2:30 p.m. Join us then.